Welcome to the Once Upon an Island podcast. I'm your host, Wesley, and of course, I am joined by my lovely co-host,
Mary.
And today we're talking about Survivor Nicaragua. We're going deep into this breakdown. The past few of these deep dives, Mary, I've tried to promise that we'll keep it under 2.5 hours.
Right.
This time, I'm aiming for 2 hours. So we'll see if the running joke goes on, because I really am trying to keep. But we'll see. Watch us go for 3
So if
now.
I say move it along,
I ignore.
We should move it along.
I ignore all signals.
Okay.
I am oblivious to signals, actually. All right, so I do want to mention real quick that if you're listening to us on YouTube, hey, we're on all the podcast platforms now, like Spotify, Samsung Podcast, Amazon Music, stuff like that. Whatever one you follow, check us out on it. Follow us. Rate us very highly. If you want to rate us very lowly, don't check us out on them, please. But also, if you're listening to us on those platforms, hey, I make videos on YouTube, Once Upon an Island. Come check me out. All right, well, now that everyone's on the same page, let's do this thing. Because, Mary, we've officially entered the Dark Ages.
Bum, bum, bum.
Seasons 21 through 26, with the exception of Philippines, are commonly considered the Dark Ages. What do you think about? I mean, we're coming off of the heels of Heroes versus Villains, widely considered the #1 season by most fans.
Right.
So, how did this feel coming off of Heroes versus Villains for you?
Well, so the first time we watched it, obviously I had no expectations.
Years ago,
right,
she's talking about years ago.
And so I was extremely disappointed, especially, after some good seasons. I don't think we were watching them chronologically at that point. So, but I know we had watched a good season before this. Mm-hmm. And so coming off of whatever good season that was, this was like, oh my gosh. Okay, do I want to watch this show anymore? I mean, it wasn't that bad, but it was very disappointing.
But you love Redemption Island.
I do love
the next season.
I do enjoy Redemption Island. That's not
where you wanted to quit. This was where it was. You're like, oh, I don't know.
No, I liked Redemption Island.
I know,
but that's a different podcast.
I feel like that's the season that makes people go, oh no, I don't know if I want to watch this anymore.
Well, so back to Nicaragua.
Yeah.
Watching it the second time through, I do, since I had such low expectations already, I think I maybe enjoyed it a bit more because I was expecting to be disappointed. I was ready for it. So the low expectations helped the second time through, but it's still definitely not one of my favorite seasons.
But on the other hand, you say that, but this one took us much longer to get through than Samoa and Heroes versus Villains. Like you and I watching it. It took us forever to get through this season.
Well, yeah.
It took us like a month.
Yeah.
And the previous seasons took us like 2.5 weeks maybe. So
yeah, I wasn't saying I was excited to watch it.
So like, despite lowered expectations, it was still like, do you want to watch Nicaragua? Like, can we watch something else tonight? I was like, that was like the conversation a lot of the times.
It happened a few times.
There was times where we watched, I can't believe I'm about to say this, Big Brother instead of Nicaragua.
I would always choose Nicaragua over
I know, but that's what I'm saying. Like, that's how much of a struggle it was to get through Nicaragua at times. So I gotta mention also, everyone who doesn't know this, pause this video, open a new tab, open a new whatever, but come back here after you're ready, after you're done. The Nicaragua theme song that they cut by Russ Landau, hugely disappointing they cut it. That was an amazing theme song. Mm-hmm. And they instead used the original season 1 theme song. And I think thematically they were trying to reset, so we can talk about this. Survivor 41, they officially came out and said this is a new era.
Right.
They made a thing about it. Like, this is it. Like, it's kind of like for years they teased it. People teased that in Vanuatu that was like supposed to be a reset after All Stars, but not really. Like, they didn't really commit to it. Here, it's almost like they committed maybe a little bit more, but it still wasn't a commitment.
Right.
Just doing the season 1 theme song, it's not really a commitment.
No, and it doesn't even make sense because so far every single season has had a new theme song.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden we're just back to the original theme song. And it's like, it just seemed lazy. It doesn't seem like, oh, we're restarting.
But that's the thing. It wasn't, because Russ made a whole
he already
new
made one
composition. So it wasn't laziness. It was just a poor decision by whoever made that decision to do the season 1 theme song. Because Russ is amazing. Check out it's called like the unapproved Nicaragua theme song. You can find it on YouTube very easily. It is awesome. I actually really like it. I wish they'd used it. It would have given the season a bit more personality, having such a great theme song. And Russ will leave Survivor after season 27. I wonder if this is like the beginning of the end, like them not even using the theme song he made. I don't know.
Could be.
Maybe the beginning of the end could have been earlier, but I feel like this is the first time I've heard like a shot.
They ticked him off.
Yeah. Like, I don't know why you want to tick off the guy. It's made like such iconic music for you.
Yeah.
Here we go. And before, so we're gonna go through this whole thing: pre-merge, post-merge, final tribal council, and then your all's questions. I will have chapter markers on YouTube for that. They don't let you do chapter markers, as far as I'm aware, on the podcast platforms, so there will not be there. But I do want to mention a couple more things before we get in episode 1. Jimmy T, who no one even probably remembers unless you've recently watched the season, got onto the show through a Sears contest.
What does that even look like?
I'm not 100% sure how it works, but from what I read, Sears did a contest where like people could vote for their friends or family to get on the show, and Jimmy T must have rallied the troops to get votes. This is just what I understand.
So doesn't that mean he's wrong. Like a big fan then, or no?
He was a big something on the show. He was a big something. He had a big ego, I would say. Yeah. I don't know. I'm just like, was he really good for the show at the end of the day? I mean, he was a little drama, I guess, the first few episodes.
He was some drama. He was a character when there weren't many characters.
He was a character. Season. Yeah. So Jimmy T got on the show through a Sears contest. This will only happen one more time that I know of in season 23 with Rick, and Rick is a dud, but we'll get there when we get there.
So a Sears contest is what you're saying? Or a contest in general?
No, Rick was a dud. What are you saying?
No, you said this only happens one other time.
Yeah, the Sears contest.
Yeah, that's what I was asking. He got on because of a Sears contest.
As far as I'm aware, it only happens twice, and it's this season and it's season 23. So, also, after this season, after he already wins the $1 million, Fabio stars in a horror movie called My Stepbrother's a Vampire.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a very clean, like basically a G-rated movie, very low budget. I made a video all about it a couple years ago called Fabio's in a Horror Movie or something like that. Just look up Fabio with my channel and you should find it. But yeah, it's really bad.
It didn't help his career as an actor.
No, it was horrible. It's supposed to be a horror movie, but like the entire film was shot during the daytime.
Mm-hmm.
Bright lights by the pool in this like mansion of a house. It's like, it wasn't like where are the horror vibes at?
Yeah.
It wasn't like comedic. So it was trying to be scary. Right. Fabio is the stepbrother who's a vampire. Right. It's not a twist. That's like the movie makes that clear. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's a thing that happened. Okay. All right. So let's get in episode 1, Nicaragua, the big twist this season. Young versus old, AKA millennials versus Gen X and boomers is what I wrote. I don't know if everyone in that age range is a millennial. Some might be like very young Gen X, but it's 30 and under.
Mm-hmm.
And in this season, that means you had to have been born 81 or later.
Right.
I think 81 technically is Gen X.
I have no idea.
So it's like late Gen X. Well, I think millennials technically are sometime in the mid 80s. Don't quote me on that. Maybe 81 is millennials. Are you going to look it up right now?
Yeah.
All right, let me know. So basically, anyone who's 30 and under versus anyone who's 40 and older. Anyone in their 30s got screwed this season. All right, what does it say?
It says, popular media uses the early 1980s as starting for the millennials.
Okay, so this is millennials versus Gen X and boomers before they officially do millennials versus Gen X in season 33.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Though technically in that season, no spoilers, but there are some people who would be considered not millennials. I think some people consider Gen Z by the time you get to 33, but I could be wrong. We'll look at that when we get there too.
But
this is millennials versus Gen X and boomers.
Right. I don't think this is a really fair twist. I mean, as we see, the young tribe constantly beats the older tribe.
Even though they did, the challengers are much less physical this season. There's no like shoving each other into mud. Sure. There's no like schmurgen brawl, nothing like that.
I guess they did try to make it a little bit more fair.
They tried.
And with the medallion of power,
there was more puzzles, I would say.
But it still just seemed a little bit unfair.
Yeah. Yeah. So the last time they did any sort of age twist, I believe was season 12 Exile Island. And then like one episode after they did it, they merged the tribes into two. So like it was so short lived.
Right.
So this is the first time they committed to it for longer than one episode. This time I think it goes to, when is the tribe swap this season? I want to say it's looks like episode 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they commit to it for 4 episodes. And yeah, basically the younger tribe does dominate. So we have this medallion of power. Jeff infamously has hated it. it's become the easy to punch thing for them. And when Jeff's like, oh, sometimes we admit we make mistakes and do bad twists, like the medallion of power, and everyone slaps their knees and goes,
I don't think that's that bad of a twist. No, honestly.
It's okay. Actually,
it's okay.
I thought it was okay. Yeah. It was just okay. It could have used a little work, but like they treat it. If they listen to any time Jeff talks about bad twists, this one always comes up. It's like the running joke, but it's not a joke. Jeff's dead serious. And it's like, I mean, there's so many worse things that have happened twist wise. I can't believe this is the one that we go back to make fun of. So basically, medallion of power. If you use it, you get a small advantage in whatever challenge you use it on. And if you use it, the Air Tribe then gets it afterwards.
Right.
That's
the
it.
Next time.
I don't like. I think there's something there, but it's just kind of a bust.
Right. It never really seemed to help or matter much. Like, I think
the tribes that were going to win, tribes are going to win.
Basically, yeah.
It was never like, oh, because of the medallion of power, that's why this tribe won.
Yeah.
But mentally, it could have affected the way people perform too. So I can't say that for sure. I'm just saying based on results.
Yeah.
But yeah, medallion of power. The season starts. Everyone's walking in. We get like these shots, people, and Fabio's like looking at the monkeys, and Purple Kelly, like her shot of her has like a big old branch in front of her face, because this season, anything they can do to make Purple Kelly look like an idiot is what they're gonna do.
Yeah.
Yep. Brenda gets the medallion of power for the young people because they don't know they're on young versus old tribes yet. Right. They're just like kind of split up randomly ish. And then she finds it up a tree, which, by the way, what old person was climbing with that tree?
Right.
Who was going to get the medallion of power from the beginning? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So, and then we find out Jimmy Johnson, this has got to be the biggest player in terms of popularity to ever come onto the show.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
Dallas Cowboys coach. She's on, I think even to this day, he's still on like Fox Sports.
Right.
I want to say.
I mean, even I recognize him, and I'm not like a huge football fan or anything.
Mary is not a huge football fan. This is true. And yeah, so Jimmy Johnson being on here was huge.
I don't know how I hope he didn't come into it thinking he was going to stay anonymous. I don't remember what his like first confessional was or anything, but there's no way he was going to come into it.
Oh, no, he basically pitched from the beginning that he knew he was too popular, and he said, just bring me to the end. Other people.
Right. I remember that.
You will beat me. And people were like, I don't know about that. And I'm like,
no, that's
I don't
actually
think anybody's
true.
giving Jimmy the million.
Yeah.
I think Jimmy's getting second place at best.
Right.
His pitch wasn't bad. He was just not very good for them in the challenges.
Right.
I mean,
unfortunately,
that had to be considered. Also rumored that Jimmy, after the third episode, told people, hey, just vote me off.
Because he was done.
Yeah, because he was done.
I mean, yeah, why did he go out there in the first place?
Because he really likes Survivor. Even up to a couple years ago, from the time of us recording this, he had his like Survivor Nicaragua like buff would be in the background when he's on like Fox Sports and stuff.
Really?
Well, yeah, I think this is back when they were doing this is back during quarantine, during COVID, and they had to do stuff from home, and he would have it in the background of his like shots. But yeah, so he is a big fan of Survivor. I'm glad that it's not something they didn't recruit this guy. He wanted to be on the show. So that was cool. I'm pro Jimmy Johnson being on the season. It didn't feel like stunt casting. Right. It felt like somebody who really actually liked the show and also was popular. Right. So it kind of really worked out.
Well, and I thought he did bring something to this season because there was drama because he was Jimmy Johnson. Yep. He was a good character to have on the show. I enjoyed him anytime he was on the screen.
Yes, I enjoyed Jimmy Johnson as well for the brief time we had him. So we meet Jane, and her husband apparently had only died a year prior. But Jane has got to be like the blue collar fan favorite this season. Something we don't see in modern seasons anymore. It's the blue collar fan favorite.
Yeah.
That has to be Jane.
Jane is one of my favorite players, probably.
Why do you like Jane?
On this season? I just like, she's really spunky, and she has like her opinions are what she believes and what she likes, and nobody's really going to change her mind about it. And at the same time, she's just kind of quiet and does her own thing.
She's a very hard worker.
Yeah, she's a hard worker. She wasn't a strategic player or anything like that. I just like in real life, if I met Jane, I'd be friends with her, I think.
Jane was very pro North Carolina, though. All about that state.
Sure.
Man. She told Chase later in the season, or she told us, she's like, he goes to North Carolina, he get his butt kicked. I'm like, man, I didn't realize the whole state was behind Jane, but there we go.
I mean,
she's got the support of the whole state.
He probably better not go to her town.
Chase nowadays, for those who don't know, Chase is, I wouldn't say famous, semi-famous. he has made millions of dollars
with his
doing country music.
Oh, country music.
We did not watch the reunion because I don't watch reunions for seasons I don't really care much for.
Right.
So we didn't watch this reunion, but during it, Jeff gave Chase his time to sing a song. And
oh, wow.
He was very pro Chase. But yeah, if you look up Chase Rice on YouTube, he has like 330,000 subscribers. Not that is and all, but like his top song has 40 million views. He's been on the radio. Yeah. He, as I said, I wouldn't say like super famous, 40 million is great, but it's not like he's no like Garth Brooks or,
well, sure.
But
he's semi-successful.
Florida Georgia Line, anybody like that. But yeah, that's what I was saying. Semi-famous.
Well, cool. Good for him.
I think he's definitely made millions. So losing this season was not.
It probably just helped him.
This is before he became anybody, though. He was nobody on this season.
Yeah, he was some race car.
He was a car jack man, it said.
Yeah, I don't know what that
Funny
is.
way of saying. But all right. Fabio is a mess. We arrive at the LaFleur camp. Fabio is a mess. And he's just like getting hurt. The crab clamps on his finger.
Bites him, yeah.
He steps on something else. And like, I
he
don't
had
know.
smoke in his eye.
Yeah, he's just like a mess.
Do you remember what I said the very first time he came on screen?
No.
We were watching the first episode and he comes on screen. I was like, there's Fabio, our winner of the season. And then it said Judd at the bottom. I was like, Judd, who's Judd? Oh, wait, maybe I'm thinking of the wrong season. And he just
and
laughed.
I just kept silent because I wasn't going to tell Mary because I knew it was going to come up like in 5 minutes.
Yeah, it came up in like.
And Shannon, this is only Shannon's only good like thing he says all season. He's like, Fabio, he's like a dumb blonde, but like a guy.
Did he say like a guy?
Yeah. So I mean, I'm paraphrasing. Shannon said it better than that, I'm sure. The only thing he says better all season. But yeah, like we get this montage of Fabio just like doing dumb stuff. But then he gets like a winter confessional that I swear is chopped from like 3 different confessionals. He's like, basically people are going to underestimate me, but I'm going to win this game. But it's like 3 different confessionals they got to get him say something like that. So if we're really thinking, oh, this is supposed to be like a soft reboot, maybe a season 1, even though next season, I feel like they abandoned that concept completely.
Right.
Resetting Survivor because look what happens with Redemption Island and Boston Rob and Hance. But yeah, so this season, like I feel like they're doing the Richard Hatch confessional, except Richard Hatch said his winter confessional out of his mouth. They didn't have to cut away and cut to 3 to, this time they're like, how do we force Fabio to say a winter confessional is what it felt like. It's one of the most blatant, obvious examples of episode 1 winter confessionals. Yeah. Like I'm going to win this game because
if they didn't, I don't think you would believe it by the end. I mean you probably
even by
would,
the end,
but
so the first time you and I watched the season, we were, I don't remember if you were on the same page with me, but I remember I was rooting for Marty and then Marty goes, halfway through the season. I'm like, I don't know if I really want anybody here to win now.
I don't think
and by the end, we were like, I guess Fabio, because I don't like anyone else.
Yeah.
So this season again, I'm just like seeing Fabio just goof his way to the end is like so unique for the first 21 seasons.
Yeah.
No one else, I can't remember anyone else who just kind of goofed their way to the end.
This is a very unique strategy. If it was a strategy, I know he says
only works with his archetype though. Chase couldn't have done this.
No.
Sash couldn't have done this. No. Holly, no one else on the season could have done goof your way to the end strategy.
Right.
And I don't know many seasons where there's people who could have done it. Jason from Micronesia, but he was on the wrong season. He was kind of a goof when we found Ozzy's fake idol and they played it. Or he didn't play it. He gave it to Eliza.
Oh yeah.
She's like, it's a stick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That guy, I'm like, if he was smart and on a different season, he could have done the Fabio strategy. Right. But he was pre-Fabio.
This only worked because of the cast that
the cast,
happened.
Yeah. the person Fabio is. I mean, Fabio though multiple times this season says like, I know I have to play dumb. Like I know I have to be this kind of person for people to let me get further in the game.
Right.
So he's like, and I don't fully believe Fabio has like some master grand strategy. Like he's not the grand chess master like Marty claims to be, but Fabio definitely is aware.
Yeah.
As we see multiple times, he's like, dude, you're angering the tribe. Dude, people don't like you. He says like Alina. Oh wait, that's a secret scene, though I think it should have been in the show. There's a secret scene where he's talking to Alina. Unless this was in the show.
I don't remember. I think
it's a secret scene then. He talks to Alina and like it's the episode Alina goes home, so I think it was a secret scene. And he's like, Alina's like talking to him about all the problems she has with everybody. And he's like, dude, people don't really like you. You gotta chill out. And it's like, Fabio's right. That's the episode where Alina goes home. He's right. So
he has very good social awareness.
He has very good social awareness. I wouldn't say he's strategically a mastermind, but hey, social alone could win you this game.
Right.
Just take a look at Natalie White.
Yeah.
You know, take a look at Sandra,
mm-hmm.
you know, from Heroes vs. Villains. So Fabio, a very social player. We go to the old tribe, I believe is Espada. Jimmy Johnson tries to pitch that he is there to help them, and he knows he can't win. Like, he right at the gate saying this.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, it's okay. I know I'm not going to win. Let me be your coach. Let me help you get to the end to win. And some people are excited. Some people are not, especially Marty. Marty is never on board with Jimmy Johnson.
Right.
He's anti-Jimmy Johnson.
Well, Jimmy T is also always
Oh, Jimmy T is anti. Jimmy T can't even believe somebody else in the season is named Jimmy. Okay. Yeah. I can't believe I have to be called Jimmy T instead of Jimmy. So the younger tribe wins immunity. Older tribe doesn't play the Medallion of Power. Mistake, I think. I think they should have just played it. I don't know.
I thought the young people had Medallion of Power at that point.
Older tribe got it. So Brenda got the Medallion of Power, but I think she gave it to the other tribe in exchange for, I want to say like right. Flint or something. Like gear or whatever. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mention that earlier. I try to keep my notes shorter this time so we don't go 2.5 hours. So some stuff is just not as important. So we go to tribal council with the old tribe, and Wendy's like going to be voted off because she's annoying, basically.
Yeah.
And no one asked her age.
No one asked her age.
Yeah, no one's like, she's like, nobody asked
that's right. And Jeff's like, isn't that usually a rude thing to ask, Wendy?
And then somebody asks her age, she tells them, and it's like,
okay,
all right, yeah, she's like 46.
Her point was nobody tried to get to know her.
Yeah, but she presented it as no one asked me my age.
Yeah,
which is like, that's not really the thing I would have asked. I mean, I personally, myself might have asked that, but that's because I don't follow social conventions. I'm a rebel. But you've seen me. I'll ask that to people. They're like, how old are you? Mm-hmm. And you're like, stop it, Wesley. It's rude. And then they'll answer me. And I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah. I'm like, I don't know why this is the rude. I didn't ask what their weight was. That's rude.
That is pretty rude.
That's rude. So when he gets voted off, we go to episode 2. Jimmy T is mad. People are listening to Jimmy Johnson and not him. Why would they listen to the Super Bowl winning coach who's inspirational and kind to everybody and not me, Jimmy T?
Right. I have no idea why.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Jimmy T was good casting. I
mean, he was pretty funny.
That's probably why they do the contest again. Because they're like, maybe we'll get another Jimmy T.
But
no, it does not work out the second time. But yeah, so Jimmy T is just like, he's just so upset. And Holly, I forgot what happened here, but she gets so angry. She fills up Dan's shoes, his expensive shoes, with sand and sets them to sea, basically.
Yeah, Holly was a little psycho the first couple of days.
But I forgot what happened.
I think Dan just said something rude or something.
That's
I don't remember. Yeah,
that's just Dan.
Yeah, something he probably didn't even mean, or he probably did mean, but like, you know, I think by the time you get to know Dan, it's just like, oh, okay.
Yeah, Dan's just like, Dan's a character. Though he becomes much less of a character, I feel like, the second half of the season. Even when they get down to like final 6, I'm like, Dan's not really getting much screen time.
I feel like he probably had good 1 or 2 liners here and there, but he was a pretty quiet guy for the most part.
Even though he was definitely a character, like he was a character as a person, he wasn't really a strategist. So, Holly though immediately like feels guilty basically, or realizes it's going on TV. I don't know. I feel like if there was no camera, would Holly have felt guilty enough to confess to everybody? But she did, and everyone's like, "This girl's crazy," and you're like, "Holly has to go soon, right?" Then she wants to quit, and Jimmy Johnson talks her out of quitting. Not Jimmy T, Jimmy Johnson.
Yes, which I don't know why. Well, I guess you don't want anybody from your team quitting. Yeah, it's still so early in the game.
This is the first instance of somebody wanting to quit this season. I will count how many times this happens.
Oh, man.
There's even, I believe, a secret scene where I believe Nyanka or Purple Kelly, slur my words, Nyanka or Purple Kelly talk about wanting to quit. That's a secret scene. So it could have been more. It was happening more often than we saw.
Well, yeah, I'm sure.
But this is Holly, like episode 2, like she's going crazy. She wants to quit and she'll end up in 4th place.
Yeah.
With a chance of winning if Fabio hadn't won that final immunity. Well, they would have voted off Fabio. She'd been in the final 3. She would have had a chance to win.
She would have had a probably better chance than Sash.
Does she beat Chase? That's the question.
I don't know if she would have beat Chase.
I don't know if she beats Chase either. Maybe. I mean, there was a couple people who clearly were never voting for Chase, like Dan
and Marty.
Dan hated Sash and Chase.
Yes. So he probably would have voted for Holly.
He might have voted for Holly.
You're right.
Holly had some votes.
Which is so crazy. But anyways.
Yeah, that's how close she was. This is why, to this day, Holly is still angry at Fabio won. Any interview you listen to Holly about Survivor, she's upset that Fabio won. She doesn't get it. She doesn't understand how he won. She doesn't like that the jury voted for him. None of that. So, all right, Nyanka, this episode is wild. Nayaka steals Fabio's socks and then gets mad at him when he inquires about them. Like, she stole his socks and then got mad at him.
Yeah. Nayaka's a mess. I think we talked about this later.
It's a Russell Hantz move.
Because Nayaka votes for Fabio at the end. I think she just like enjoyed fighting with him, honestly.
Yes. Nayaka, I think personally just enjoys a little drama in her life. Yeah. So she causes drama just to have fun, just to goof. This is
Didn't she wear Fabio's socks?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So it was like so obvious too.
Yes. I'm like 99% sure that's what happened. Yeah. As I said, it took us like a month to watch a season. So some details are a little fuzzy in the beginning. But anyway, so LaFleur, I forgot to mention episode 1, they did like a fun entrance into the immunity challenge. Right. They did like, LaFleur. But it was like all the girls in Fabio. It wasn't all the guys. Right. And then they do it again this season. They do it again this episode. But like Jeff both times does not care.
Yeah. He like, just ignores them, basically.
Jeff is at peak. Jeff, I think here's what happened. So a couple seasons ago, I believe it was Gabon or Tocantins. No, it was Tocantins. Jeff became an executive producer. We are now a few seasons in. Jeff's probably feeling comfortable. I'm the head honcho around here. Mark Burnett's barely around. I'm in charge. Mm-hmm. And now Jeff not only has the confidence of that, but he's feeling a little cheeky as well because he'll do so many things this season. I'm like, modern Jeff would never do this.
Yes.
He would never poke at people. Mm-hmm. He would never say, like, the losers get taken and executed, which is a great line.
That one is so funny.
Like, Jeff was on top of his game this season. It's a shame the cast wasn't, but Jeff was. So Older Tribe uses the medallion. They've learned their lesson. They do win immunity. I can't say that was the sole reason, but it definitely helped. But we then still go to the Older Tribe, and Marty finds the idol because of Jill. I feel like Jill, didn't she have a clue? And she told him, like, I think she helped him, and she didn't really care that Marty found it.
Marty has the clue, and Jill basically interpreted it for her.
Yeah, that sounds like it. And they were like having to like count steps or whatever and all that. So Marty finds the idol. This is important. Remember that Marty has an idol. So we go to tribal council with the younger tribe. Shannon is just a mess. He's causing fights with Chase. He's like Chase and his girlfriend Brenda. And he's like, no, we're not dating. Even though Chase is definitely into Brenda. And if Brenda said I wanted to be your girlfriend, Chase would have said yes.
Oh, I'm sure.
It was so obvious. Like, it's fine, by the way. Nothing wrong with that. But Chase was into Brenda.
Yeah. Yeah. I honestly think Brenda was too much into the game at this point. I'm sure she enjoyed
Brenda's
it.
Game mode?
Yeah, Brenda was totally game mode. I'm sure she enjoyed Chase's attention. I'm not saying that, but I think Brenda was one of the few people that was constantly just game mode this whole time.
So as we'll learn in her next time playing, 'cause she's the only person to come back from this season in Caramel, and her parents are, I think, very traditional. So it could be a matter of, I'm not going to have a showmance on TV because my parents are going to watch as well. So it could be both. She got into game mode with I'm not saying Chase was going to be like a super romantic there on the island or anything. He was pretty even keel as well. But yeah, it could have been a mixture of things. But we learned in a later season.
He was not even keel.
Well, I meant even keel in terms of his, like, he was not like
the way he talked.
Very rarely, very rarely did he like raise his voice or he's very more often even keel in the way he talked. Yeah. So Shannon is super homophobic, getting on a sash about. He's like, hey, by the way, are you gay? And it's like, oh my gosh. Even Fabio's like, dude,
he just was causing drama for like no reason. I think he just knew he was leaving, and I don't know.
He reminds me of Ben from Samoa, and Ben was like calling, I forgot what, Yasmin, like telling her go eat a ketchup sandwich, and dude, like, come on, why do they cast like this? Is the archetype I'm glad they don't cast anymore. Yeah, we don't need the racist, homophobic person on the season. I'm good. It's the wrong kind of drama. Yeah. I want Jimmy T thinking he's better than Jimmy Johnson drama. I don't want people being homophobic or racist. So I'm glad he goes here in episode 2. I don't want to twitch into that, but yeah, he's just like shut up, Shannon. All right. Episode 3. Fabio strip says, I want people to view me as a goof so they don't think I'm a threat. Because Fabio is an in-shape dude, and as we will learn, a huge challenge threat.
Yes.
And nobody really mentions him being a challenge threat, I want to point out, this season that we see.
Right. And he's even good at puzzles, which goes against his archetype, you know, so.
Does Fabio the goof look like a puzzle wizard? Because he is. Who knew? So for some reason, Marty decides he's going to tell his whole tribe that he is the idol.
Well, because Jill basically bullied him into it. And Jill was there when he found it.
Was he worried that Jill maybe was going to tell everyone for him?
So he was going to do it preemptively so it didn't look like he was a jerk.
Oh, okay.
It still was a dumb move.
But like, why? Yeah, because why couldn't he talk Jill out of this? Like, Jill,
I could be
why do we have to tell everyone?
This part, but that's what I remember is that Jill being like, "Well, this should be for the whole tribe, and we should use it for the whole tribe."
No,
right?
just power Jill.
Yeah,
Jill's not a very good player.
No.
Marty's not that much better.
Marty's not a good player
but
either.
at least Marty is entertaining. Jill was boring.
Sure.
Yeah. Who got voted off episode 1? Wendy was more entertaining than Jill. With her, nobody asked me my age. All right. LaFleur does not use the medallion, and they still win the challenge. They win immunity, I believe. And which is funny to me because Older Tribe had a huge lead. They were up 6-2, but I think Tyrone was getting his arm worn out.
Oh, yeah. And he wouldn't trade out.
He did, and Jimmy T came in, but it was like too late, and I don't know. It was a whole thing. But yeah, basically, Old Tribe had a huge lead, and then they blew it. They were up 6-2 on throwing those bean bags onto the, very much like a carnival game. So, I mean, they got rid of the physical challenges.
Right.
And, I don't know if we ever see them come back, the very physical challenges. I know in Blood versus Water, we will get the bags hitting each other, but not into mud, but instead into water. So they do bring back that. So it's not like they're completely gone. But yeah, here there's like not, so they got to like come up basically carnival games.
Right.
Essentially throwing beanbags onto barrels. Nyanka fights with Kelly B for the clue in the fruit basket when they get back to camp.
Was it Kelly B?
Yes. Kelly B's the one with Kelly Bruno's the one with the prosthetic leg.
Oh, right. Sorry.
Which has not really come up in our discussion so far, but let's talk about this because Nyanka hates Kelly Bruno. Why does she hate Kelly Bruno?
I don't know.
Oh, I need details.
I honestly don't know. It's just like maybe something happened in the first couple of days where they're just like, we don't like each other, which is fine. But we don't hear Kelly B constantly ragging on Nyanka. In fact, I think we have a confessional where Kelly B's like crying because she's like, I don't understand why she doesn't like me.
She's being bullied by Nyanka.
Yes. And Nyanka's just like, that girl, I just hate her.
If she thinks she's going to win, if she thinks she can come up to me, I'm going to take her leg and throw it in the ocean. Like Nyanka's just saying the most asinine things. Everyone else just like,
rude.
Kelly Bruno, because you revealed her prosthetic leg in episode 1. They're like, oh, if she goes to the end, she's probably going to win. Like sympathy. Like we do hear that, but we don't hear anyone throwing vitriol her way like Nyanka does. Nyanka's like, hates Kelly Bruno. She hates her.
Yes. And I
hates her.
I can understand seeing a clue and you both see a clue and you both go for it at the same time. But it just got kind of out of hand.
Nyanka,
their little battle there.
Nyanka elevates it. Nyanka, though, despite later on quitting, does not get the purple edit like Purple Kelly does.
No, because she's too much drama.
She's too good.
You can't
to pass
ignore
up.
her.
Yeah, imagine ignoring her. How weird the show would have been.
Yeah,
if they ignored
really
her
weird.
and Purple Kelly. So Marty wants Jimmy Johnson gone so badly. Him and Jimmy T are just like, I hate Jimmy Johnson being around here. If he's here, then I can't be in charge. That's basically what they're both saying.
Right.
They both want to be in charge. And Jimmy Johnson's in their way. So he is voted off, but the rumor is that he asked to leave. And the reason I got this rumor is because I believe Jeff said it in an interview many, many years later. That Jimmy Johnson was kind of done after 9 days. And he didn't say straight up Jimmy Johnson quit, but it sounded a lot like
he asked everybody to vote for him.
Yeah, you guys can vote me off. It's fine. So episode 4, Nyanka and Brenda get the idol with the clue that Nyanka stole from Kelly B in the last episode. So now I think who exactly has possession of this? Is it Nyanka or is it Brenda?
It's Nyanka.
Nyanka has possession. Okay. Nyanka says she will shove Kelly Bruno if she needs to. She's just like going off. Any chance she gets from here on out, like Kelly Bruno even like just like exists. Nyanka's doing something to her and her stupid prosthetic leg.
Right.
Yeah. Just oh, Nyanka. Jimmy T though, now that Jimmy Johnson's gone, he's like, I can be the leader. He's fighting to be the leader, and everyone's just annoyed by this guy because he has a massive ego and he doesn't listen to anybody.
Yeah. Also,
the way he talks sounds very negative.
Yes. He's just not a fun guy to be around.
No.
It was kind of fun to watch, I guess, on TV.
For us.
It would not have been fun to be on his tribe.
No.
That's for sure.
I would not have won. If I was on this tribe, I'm like, I can't wait for a tribe swap.
Yeah.
LaFleur used the medallion. They win again. Shocker. So like so far, Older Tribe has only won one challenge, and that's when Shannon got voted off. Jimmy T says at Tribal Council, he needs to be the leader, and people say he needs to be a better follower. And I guess he's going to follow his way out the door because he gets voted off. I'm glad, by the way. At this point, I thought when they were having all this talk, I'm like, holy crap, they're going to go back to camp and Jimmy T's still going to be there. And they're not voting him off tonight. I'm glad they did.
Yeah, because they were doing all this. Well, Jimmy T, we might be able to listen to you if you would show that you could follow.
Yeah.
Like they were doing
like a second chance.
Yeah.
No second chance here.
Hopefully he actually learned from the experience. I don't know. But he's kind of, sometimes you get to a certain age, you just don't change.
Jimmy T was quite old here in this season. This is 2011.
Yeah.
So was it current day? Here we are 12, 13 years later at time of recording. Yeah, I don't think so. So, all right. Episode 5. Marty is so confident before the tribe swap about how this game's going to go. Jimmy T's gone. Jimmy Johnson's gone. Who's going to become leader of the tribe?
Right.
Obviously, Marty. Doesn't matter because the first time in 4 seasons, believe it or not, we're doing a tribe swap. We haven't done one since Gabon.
Oh, wow.
Tocantins didn't have one. Samoa didn't have one. Heroes versus villains. So here we are. Tribe swap time. Medallion Power is kicked out of the game. So long.
Good, I guess.
You were okay.
Yeah.
I think there's a better version of you out there somewhere. I can see Medallion. Here's the thing. Medallion of Power, right? They rag on it, but they do versions of it in Modern Survivor. I believe it was Survivor 43. When, remember, they were all looking around the stupid forest for a note pinned onto a tree. And that note gave, I believe, somebody an advantage in the challenge. Or no, sorry, that's something completely different.
It's
that's
individuals get advantages.
No, sorry, that wasn't an advantage in the challenge. That was something else. But yes, advantages and challenges don't go away. They started in season 11 and they still go up through Modern Survivor. They happen. So I was thinking something completely different from season 43. Oh, brother, get all these twists mixed up. All right, Marty goes to LaFleur with Jill and Jane. They're on LaFleur with a few other younger people, including Fabio.
Right.
Marty reprimands LaFleur for not voting off Nyanka and then tells them all he has the idol. And I don't understand this move at all. Number one, why the reprimanding?
Well, again, this is just Marty's personality. He feels like he has to be the leader and he has to tell these kids what to do. I don't know why. I don't know why he thinks that's going to help, you know. I mean, he tried to come in kind of humbly. I remember that him and Jill both came in and they were like, oh, whatever you guys normally do, you know, this is how we do things, but whatever you guys kind of.
But the way he said it was like, but this is how we do things.
But this is what we're going to do, basically. So, and then he just very quickly kind of lets that go and is like, yeah, you guys are kind of dumb.
This within like an hour or two of being there seemed like hours, like same day of getting this new tribe. Where they're down in numbers.
Right, exactly. Yeah. When there's only 2 of you, you should not be saying.
No, there's 3 of them, but Jane's not really on their side. So
that's right.
Like, you're right.
Basically, when there's only 2 of you, you should not be at all opening your mouth. Just sit and watch and listen.
Yeah, just shut up.
Yeah.
That's not
And
Marty's
why
style.
He told them about the idol, I have no idea.
Yeah, because it's not Jill did not pressure him that we saw. This is of his own volition.
Yeah.
Maybe because he's worried Jane might tell them because Jane knows.
I think this might have been a power move where he's like, look, guys, I have, immunity. So
definitely.
No matter what you're going to do, I'm going to be fine.
Yeah. Jill and Jane have to go first.
Right.
I have the idol. So, yeah, the reprimanding though, really, I was like, oh my gosh. So the rain gets really bad. And now Nyanka is wanting to quit. And here we are, episode 5. The second time somebody's mentioned wanting to quit this game.
Mm-hmm.
So, but Nyanka here, already talking about episode 5. And as I said, I think in a secret scene, Purple Kelly talked about it because they put all of Kelly's scenes not in the show. Right. You know, sorry, Purple Kelly. It's just the way it works. So I think as a result of her purple edit, for those who don't even know why I'm saying Purple Kelly, I mean, they talk about that in the show. It's just her hair, but there's this thing called the purple edit. I made a video about it called What is the Purple Edit? So if you want details and everything, go to that video. But the long story made short is because Purple Kelly quit and she's just like your average everyday person on the show. Mm-hmm. She's not like a Nyanka character. They basically are like, let's just edit her out of the show. We're going to punish her and show people that if you quit, you're not getting a good edit. Right. I mean, Nyanka didn't get a good edit either. She just got a big edit.
Right. Yeah. She still was a character in the show versus Purple Kelly. Because she's like infamous for not being famous. You know what I mean? Like,
she's more famous because of the purple edit. Right. Yeah. It had the opposite reaction.
It did. It probably backfired on them a little bit. But at the same time, if I was Purple Kelly, would I be kind of sad that there's this TV show that I'm on where I say like 10 words the whole time? Yeah, that's frustrating.
I've heard from people that meet her though, like, I mean, in a way, like it's probably good. Like she would just been just another post-merge boot.
It's true. And
now she's thankful people even know who she is. And it's because of the purple edit. I guess
so.
But it's only amongst hardcore fans. Like no casual fan remembers Purple Kelly.
Right, exactly.
This is just a hardcore fan thing. So yeah, the purple edit is notorious. I mean, it had happened on occasion prior to Purple Kelly, but she is the most extreme example of it happening.
Right. And it's happened since.
But this is not the last time. No, it happens again. Mm-hmm. It happens quite a few times after this. It's almost like when Jeff takes over, the edit gets I mean, it was already imbalanced. It's always been imbalanced. No matter what, it's imbalanced. But it gets more imbalanced, starting with, I believe, Samoa. Tocantins was pretty balanced, but Samoa gets really imbalanced. We saw with Russell taking over.
Right.
Heroes versus Villains, I would say, is imbalanced in a lot of ways. It's still better, but it's imbalanced. And then here, and no one is like the star of the season in the sense that they get everything, but there are people who just get shafted.
Right.
And this continues. Next season, we'll see it again. Boston Rob will be dominating the season. People will basically get purple that season as well. So it just continues. It continues. And this is not the beginning. This is just probably the biggest symptom of the problem. Right. So, all right. Espada blows a big lead in the immunity challenge to Fabio. Fabio's the reason.
Right.
So then nobody's catching on to Fabio yet, though. Tyrone's voted off of Espada. So episode 6, Dan suggests he might quit.
I remember that.
That's the third time somebody has mentioned they're going to quit. This is only episode 6. Both tribes are going to tribal tonight. They're doing that old twist. So they do, instead of though, just doing a reward challenge where like one tribe gets to eat food at tribal while the other is doing their tribal. That's what they normally do when they do both tribes are going tribal. We're competing for food. They do individual immunities. And Holly and Jill both win immunity. And that's probably good for Jill because I think Jill was going to be voted off.
Yeah.
I think Jill was going. So she saved her butt. She does win the feast for LaFleur. Not that that's going to make a difference for her value in the game, but back at camp, Marty's like, all right, how do I get somebody on my side from the young tribe? What does he do with Fabio, Mary?
He tells Fabio he's a grandmaster in chess. He has a name too. He's like, have you ever heard of blah, 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 blah?
And it's some tennis player.
Right. And of course, Fabio hasn't. He's like, well, he was a grandmaster in chess. And I played him what did he say when he was like a teenager or something? And I beat him. And it was just like,
and Fabio believed it.
Oh yeah. Fabio completely believed it.
I mean, why would he have any reason to doubt this? He's like, that makes sense, man. He's so smart.
That was pretty funny.
But that's the kind of stuff that like appeals to Marty's ego. And at the end of the game, Marty votes for Fabio. Yeah,
it's true.
So just having a good relationship with Marty, not being like, Marty, you're lying to me. Or,
right.
Like Fabio, Fabio just takes it in stride. He laughs about it. That makes so much sense, man.
Yeah.
He has, Marty likes the good vibes Fabio's giving out. So yeah, basically he says like, no, this dude is some tennis player from the 70s that like, I knew Fabio was too young to know who it was. Yeah. So he's never a grandmaster. That guy wasn't a grandmaster either. He's just a tennis player. So, all right. So, Jane is the only person who blends in with these younger people on the floor. Really, Marty and Jill stand out like a sore thumb. They don't really do. I mean, outside of that joke with Fabio, they don't really do much to blend in. So at this point, it feels like Jill has immunity. They're not going to vote for Jane because Jane's working her butt off. She gets along with people. So Marty should be the target, but Marty has the idol.
That he's told everyone about.
He's told everyone about. So actually, while we said, why did he do that? It's kind of working out in his favor here.
He did.
Though, on the other hand, had he just not told them, he could have played it tonight and he could have picked who went home. Him and Jill. So, I don't know. Jane might have snitched though, but does Jane want to snitch? I don't know.
I think so because she really didn't like Marty.
Yeah, I know. She knows about the idol.
Yeah, she would have.
She knows about the idol. Yeah, So yeah, I mean, if Jane didn't, here's the thing. Jill's at fault here for making him tell all of Espada back when they were in the older tribe that he had the idol. So Jill is at fault for making him tell everyone. If he didn't have to tell everyone, they could have gone to this tribe. They could have kept it a secret. They could have played it in this tribal council and picked who they wanted to go. I don't know if that would have made a difference, but they could have picked.
It was Marty's decision. And so I feel like ultimately Marty's the one.
Well, yeah, Marty ultimately did it, but Jill could have snitched on Marty. Marty felt pressured.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure Marty also likes bragging and showing off.
I don't know. I don't know why they didn't try splitting the vote here.
This is
something. I don't even remember if they talked about it or not. But
this is something, I'll tell you that. So we go to tribal and we watch this tribal and we are both dumbstruck by what happened because they do. It is a tie vote and then they revote and they vote off Kelly Bruno.
Yeah. They still vote out Kelly B.
Naoka's not even there to champion this. She's on Espada, isn't she? Naoka's not even on LaFleur. So it's not like Naoka was like, we got to get rid of Kelly Bruno.
Right.
Naoka's on Espada.
Yeah, I don't know. Because Marty didn't play his idol, so he was fair game. And they really should have voted out Marty here. But
yeah, Naoka, I'm double checking. Naoka is on Espada. So she is not like there to champion this. This is a 3-3-2 vote.
Right. So
we have 3 people voting for Kelly B, 3 people voting for Marty, and I believe I'm double checking. Yes, Marty and Jill vote for Tyrone. Am I getting that right? No, I'm sorry, not Tyrone. I'm sorry. No, they're voting for Brenda. So they wasted their votes on Brenda. They could have just voted. They didn't know, though. They didn't know.
Yeah, they were completely out of it.
If they had thrown their votes on Kelly B, there would have been no split, but it worked out. But I am baffled. I am completely baffled. What is this? Like, why are you so worried about Kelly Bruno? What did we not see?
Because she's a sweet girl who doesn't have one of her legs. So therefore she deserves $1 million.
So dumb. I can't believe they voted her off over Marty. I don't know how they got. I don't know how Marty getting out of this tribal is dumb luck. Is what this is, not skill.
Yeah.
And then over on Spada, Eve gets voted off, but that's not. Who cares? All right. So episode 7. This is the infamous pool challenge. When it started, I said Mary. It's probably my favorite challenge of the season. And Mary's like watching the challenge. She's like, what is special about this one? It's just like people running and throwing balls. And the other person tries to block it with a stick or their hand or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, it was their hand, I think.
But it's because what happens, Mary?
Oh my gosh. Why do I have to
You need to present this information.
Because Fabio pees in the pool.
He pees in the pool.
And everybody knows it.
I do want to comment a couple things since we're talking about the location with the pool. Mm-hmm. The fact that they had to make a pool tells you everything you need to know about the ocean.
Yeah.
There's like no challenges in the ocean. They don't run out in the ocean. Mm-hmm. They don't do anything out. Like in modern seasons where they're in Fiji, constantly using the ocean.
Right.
Because the ocean is cooperating for the most part. There's some times where it's getting a little rough, but here the ocean must have been consistently rough because I don't recall a single time they got in the ocean this season for a challenge. And then next season, they're going to be in the same location. And I don't recall any challenges of Redemption Island where they got in the ocean. So yeah, this location, this Nicaragua, I mean, on top of that, for me personally, I also think it's an ugly location.
Yeah.
The maybe beach side, it's so brown.
Maybe it's just not a good place to like build challenges.
I know the colors. I know the color grading hadn't changed because when you see like the green leaves, you see their clothes and their buffs, all the colors are right. Like, it's not like they did something different. Because with One World, when we get to season 24, for those who have a keen eye, for some reason, season 24, they changed the color grading for that one season. It's just like weird. And it's not at all more appealing to your eye at all. Anyways, but here they hadn't done that. Everything looks fine. It's the location that's ugly.
Right.
For me.
You know what is even worse about this whole scenario? They used that pool several times for different challenges.
Oh, I know.
And this is not like a pool that has a filter or a cleaner or chemicals. Well, I know it's just pee. I'm just saying.
Here's what I'm wondering. It's ocean water's in there. I'm pretty sure. Like, it's not like clean pool water. Like, we saw it. They used it up through the finale, at least. Or no, it was in the family challenge near the end. They used the pool again, and in that pool, it looked like seawater. It didn't look like.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's not like pool water with chemicals and stuff. But
I'm saying it's the sea. Like, it's already dirty. Don't be drinking that.
Well, no.
Also, It rained. I wonder if it rained. They probably didn't cover this pool. It probably just rained.
I'm sure.
And then they just had to dump water out of the pool. Maybe. I'm just guessing. I have no idea. I wasn't there.
So that was an exciting challenge.
Yeah. So seeing the pool come up again after this is funny. You're like, is Fabio's pee still in there? But anyways, this Nicaragua location, I am not a fan of it. And what's unfortunate is that they do come back here in later seasons.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, you shouldn't. Philippines, when they go to Philippines, it'll be beautiful. When they go to South Pacific, it's pretty good looking. I liked Samoa. I mean, these are all just generic beach locations at the end of the day for what they're using them for. Mm-hmm. But the Nicaragua one's like the worst of the generic beach locations. I never. Next season's ugly as well. It's just ugly.
Right.
This location, I'm sure the country's beautiful. This location is ugly that they filmed in. So very disappointing. Just location. So, all right. Because I should have mentioned that. We didn't talk about this. Is a new location. They're going to film back-to-back seasons, and it's ugly.
It's
whatever.
I know you notice those things more than I do. To me, it's just like whatever.
It's just brown.
Yeah.
It's just brown everywhere. It's like, where's like the beautiful blues? Like the ocean's never pretty to look at. Not this season, not next season. It's just ugly. All right. So Purple Kelly gets her first confessional of the season. And it's not even a challenge they win. It's the challenge where Fabio pees in the pool. And she's like, oh, that would be so much fun. You get to like milk your own milk. Because I think they got to milk the cows. The winners did.
They went to a reward. Yeah.
Yeah. And they got to milk cows. And Naoka's like, I'm not doing that ever again. So yeah, Purple Kelly didn't get to go on it, but she got her first confessional where they made her look dumb.
I mean, technically that is an accurate sentence because milk can be a verb and a noun.
She's like, you get to milk your own milk, I think. But yeah, they didn't make her look smart. All right. So we go back to camp. Jane catches a fish and she secretly eats it. She like makes her own fire.
Mm-hmm.
And this also happens in a secret scene later in the season where she takes some eggs, I believe, and goes in the middle of the night and makes her own food. And Benry wakes up and she's like sneaking it. So this is not the only time. And that secret scene, I bet you, is not the only other time. I bet you Jane's doing this more often than we know.
Probably. And she's talking about how she's so hungry and never gets a reward.
Well, she works so hard and she's
that's
thin.
True.
So
she is super thin. Yeah.
It's not like Jane's just laying around. She's working. She's burning calories. So I get it. And also she earned it.
Yeah, she did. No, I'm not saying she shouldn't have done that.
She didn't want to deal with the social repercussions of making a fish and eating it by herself.
Right.
That would have gotten her in trouble. So she's like, I'll just go do it by myself somewhere else. Good for her. All right, Espada wins immunity. So Brenda tells Sash to get Marty's idol. And I'm like, this is too obvious, right?
Right.
She tells Sash to get Marty's idol. And this is, remember, Micronesia was only a couple years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Fresh in people's minds. That's why in Gabon, Bob wouldn't give Kenny the idol.
Right.
Because what happened one season prior? Eric gave it up and he looked like a complete fool, and Survivor won't shut up about it.
Yeah.
In fact, during the Heroes versus Villains reunion, because they saw Heroes versus Villains, they brought up Eric's dumb move again to make Eric look like an idiot.
Mm-hmm.
So Survivor is not forgotten. The fans should not have forgotten. So the fact that this even happens is baffling to me.
Right.
But Marty thinks he's so smart he can get out of anything.
I guess that's it. I was going to say Marty is actually smart, so I don't understand how he fell for this.
But Marty thinks he's smarter than he is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
He gives it to Sash. It works. I mean...
Well, it works for him for one tribal, I guess.
No, I mean, like, Sash gets the idol. It works for Sash.
Oh, I
see. Though at the end of the day, Sash will only negate one vote with this at tribal where he's never going to go home.
Right.
So... it was ultimately just a move to make Marty eligible to be voted off. But yeah, Jill gets voted off instead. So yeah, I mean, I guess it bought him a tribal, but playing the idol would have bought him a tribal as well.
Exactly, yeah. I don't know. Dumb. I think he thought, I mean, again, he thinks he's so smart. I think he was thinking, oh, these kids are starting to trust me. Mm-hmm. I'm going to show them I trust them.
I'm going to get goodwill.
Yeah, but it didn't, because really, what did he have to lose? He was already on the bottom.
Yeah.
But it didn't work.
That's the exact noise I made a lot of times this season. I was like,
yeah.
Thank goodness Fabio won. If Chase or Sash won the season, what a bust.
Yeah. That would even
Fabio winning is a little saving grace at the end. So, all right, episode 8. They all merged. It's about time.
Mm-hmm.
And Alina proposes to the Espada group, hey, let's be the final 6. And everyone goes, They go,
yeah, it was like an obvious, like this should have been, oh yeah, sure. Like, even if you don't agree, just say, yeah, sure. But everyone just ignores her. And it was just like,
are you encouraging lying? Are you encouraging lying? No, I get it. You just agree because maybe you will go through with that. You don't know. You just agree to alliances and you just see what happens at the end of the day. Which alliance am I going to go with?
Well, especially when you're in a big group of 6, you don't have to say the words, yes, I will do this. You can say the words, that sounds like a great plan.
That's a great idea.
That's not lying.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great idea.
Yeah. I know I don't jump too. I'm not going to, this is not spoiling anything.
Or why would we not do that?
Season 37, Christian Hubicki. Mm-hmm. He's a fantastic player. I wish they would bring him back. Hopefully they do one day. So anyways, he said his season that he would tell people a lot of times when they present an idea to him, wow, that's a great idea. Let's go talk to X. Or, wow, that's a really interesting idea. Like a really positive spin, but he never would agree if he didn't want to agree.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good approach. And I'm sure other people have done it. I just remember him saying it in an interview. So yeah, just saying, well, that's actually a really good idea. I really like that idea. It's not agreeing to do the idea,
right?
But it makes them feel good about it. And it depends on who you're talking to, because like somebody did that to me. I know you're not agreeing to my idea, but there are many types of people who would view that as they're basically agreeing to my idea.
Yeah.
And maybe they are. I mean, the person saying it might actually be, I don't know.
Right.
We're all different kinds of people. But for me, I would never buy that. I need to hear a yes or a no. But there are many people who would take that. So
it just makes it so awkward when you are all standing there and someone's like, hey, we could be the final 6. And it's just like crickets.
It is crickets. So we go so everyone's merged. And I mean, like Nyanka's just like, this has got to be her most, I don't know if this is her most villainous move, but this is definitely
this is her most villainous move, I think.
Probably the dumbest move
outside
of quitting the game. If you're quitting though, your goal is not to win. So this is gotta be your dumbest move. Can you tell everyone what she does here at the merge?
Well, she got tired, I guess, of people complaining about the food or how much food she ate or whatever. I don't know. But she steals flowers, pans, lots of food items, and then just goes and buries them in the woods. And then people are like, what happened to the stuff? Nayanka, and you were the last one to use it. And she's like,
Holly watched her do it.
Oh, yeah. Holly watched her walk away with the pan. And Holly...
And she let it play out. Good on Holly, by the way.
She did. I mean, she did. She let it play out for a little bit, but Holly did say, well, Nayanka, I saw you walk away with the pan. Mm-hmm. What were you doing with it?
Yeah.
And Nayanka's like, well, I just took it away and then I brought it back. I was going to hide it, but then I brought it back, which is like so obvious.
Yeah. Like why, but why were you going to hide it in the first place? I guess that's really where we're getting at here.
And so of course, Nayanka and Fabio just go back and forth over this. And Fabio's just like, well, why did you walk away with the pan, Nayanka?
Yeah. Why'd you take all the stuff, Nayanka?
And Nayanka just kept saying, oh, well, I was going to. I didn't steal anything. Nope. But I didn't. Nope. I didn't do anything.
I didn't steal nothing.
And I don't quite understand why she grabbed Alina and pulled her into this.
Yeah, Alina roped into this too.
Which she wasn't there originally, but I think...
she becomes an accomplice by telling her it happened, and Alina doesn't tell everyone else.
Sure. But why? I guess you could.
Why
at this
Alina?
Point.
I don't know.
Honestly, I feel like this was another evil move of Nayanka's because nobody likes Alina at this point. She feels left out. She needs an alliance.
Are you saying this is a 4D chess move?
Kind of. And so Nayanka's like, if I pull in Alina to this, so somebody else is getting the blame, it's okay because nobody else likes Alina at this point. And so she gets to share the blame with Alina, and she gets to squeak through another tribal. Because nobody liked Alina, which I don't know why. Again,
I don't know. That's
I don't know why
Nayanka
didn't get voted out this episode. But
could be right though.
That was just that's how it felt. It was almost like, well, one of the popular kids is finally coming over and talking to me. This is Alina's perspective.
Okay. So
I'm just gonna go with it. But in reality, the popular kid is just trying to use her as a scapegoat.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but that's what it felt like.
The origins of 4D chess, by the way, start in this season with Marty.
I thought you were talking about like the origins.
No, I'm saying
4D chess.
You'll hear me talk about another podcast. I'll say 4D chess. The origins of 4D chess and Survivor is with Marty, the Grand Chess Master.
Oh, okay.
It's pretty much just a joke on Marty playing 4D chess or thinking he's playing 4D chess.
Yeah.
So when we say playing 4D chess, this is it. This is the season.
Oh yeah, because doesn't he make a comment like I'm playing 4D chess and everybody else is playing checkers or something?
Something to that effect. Yeah. But the fact of the matter is that Marty's an idiot. So when I say playing 4D chess, I'm being sincere. Like Nayanka's not playing 4D chess. Like, but 4D chess in a way is like jabbing at Marty because like he wasn't playing 4D chess. He thought he was, but he was not playing 4D chess. Yeah. Also, what is 4D chess?
4-dimensional chess.
Yeah, what are the dimensions? What are the 4 dimensions of chess?
I don't know. Wesley.
Yeah, no, I don't know either. That's why I'm asking. We'll have to ask a chess grandmaster. All right. Are you looking it up right now?
Yeah.
All right, look it up. Tell me what 4D chess is. Okay, so Nayanka denies stealing anything, and then she later confesses, but she does it while throwing Alina under the bus, and you're saying that's her 4D chess move. So we go to the immunity challenge, and Jeff's like, not only is one person winning, 2 people are winning. One will be a man, one will be a woman. And I don't know if they've done this in prior seasons. I get them all mixed up. But I really like, they'll do this again. I know that. Mm-hmm. I really like when they do this. I don't like when they do it beyond the merge one, but I really like when they do it at the merge. I don't know if it's ever made a real difference in terms of who's going to go home. I don't think Fabio nor Jane were going to go home this episode.
Right.
But I really like when they do a man and a woman one for something where clearly there is a physical difference.
Yes.
And I wish they would do it more often for the sole reason of being able to do more physical challenges.
Mm-hmm.
So
this was a great show. I was so happy for Jane.
You wouldn't do it any later, I believe, than like finals. Like I wouldn't do it final 7 and after. I wouldn't do it, but before final 7, sure. Mm-hmm. Like you could do a man and a woman one, or do 2 people win this. I don't know. The problem is I don't know. Well, we already talked. That's modern Survivor. I can't get mixed up in it. All right. So go ahead. What were you going to tell me about 4D chess?
I was just going to, about 4D chess.
Yeah.
No, basically it is just a phrase because 3D chess is an actual game where you play on different chess boards.
Yeah.
And so if you're really smart, you play 3D chess. But then it just became like a saying where I'm better than that. I play 4D chess. Like it's not a real thing.
I know. That's like I was aware. That's why when you said it's 4D chess, I'm like, yeah, what are the 4 dimensions, Mary?
No, I'm like, obviously I know there's not a real thing as 4D chess. It's just like That was.
Here you go. According to urbandictionary.com, because they're the source of all information, 4D chess, the act of playing a strategic game, moves ahead in such a multi-layered, brain-sparkling, sophisticated process that no one outside the gamer's own mind even has a biscuit of what's going on until days, weeks, or even months later. Maybe even never, unless informed in great detail or being a spectacular artiste themselves. I don't know if that's exactly the perfect one, but the one I think more often we're referencing, I mean, is that and also this. 4D chess, a term most often used to mock people who try to present their incompetence as part of a greater strategy or mind game.
Yeah.
And really, that's 4D chess. And you're telling me Naoka's playing 4D chess, and I think it's accidental 4D chess.
Yes.
I think she's accidentally. I don't think it was purposefully like, oh, I'm gonna lean out of here. So. Oh, see, that's what I'm saying. I wasn't sure if it was a secret scene or in the show. So Fabio, I mean, I think there's also a secret scene as well, but. Yeah, Fabio talks to Lena and has a pretty good read on why she's going to be going. But there's also a secret scene, I think, with more talks between him and her, where it's just like, wow, Fabio really has a good read of the social game, what's the vibes of the tribe, how everyone's thinking. He may not have a good idea of who, because his voting record this season is spotty at best. But he has a good read of like who likes who and he's got a good, like stuff like that. So let me double check. Let's see how many times Fabio votes incorrectly. Shannon goes home. Fabio votes for Brenda. Kelly B goes home. He votes for Kelly B. When Jill goes home, he votes for Marty. When Alina, so he's 2 for, what's that?
Well,
he's 1 for 2. He's 1 for 3. Alina goes home. He votes for Alina. That's 2 for 2. When Marty goes home, he votes for Jane. That's 2 for 5. He votes for Brenda when Brenda goes home. So he's 3 for 6. When Benry goes home, he votes for Holly. That's 3 for 7. When Jane goes home, he votes for Jane. That's 4 out of 8. Dan goes home 5 out of 9, and then Holly goes home 6 out of 10. So he misses 4 out of the 10 votes he participates in. And
how much of that is that he just didn't, not that he didn't care what the other tribe, I'm sure he probably did.
By the last 4 or 5 votes, he was on board. He
got into it.
First half of the season, he was like,
doing his own thing. Anyways, back to
I don't knock voting records, by the way. People do. I don't knock them on winners.
Yeah, that's important.
I think not annoying the people that you vote off is more important. And so when Tokachins, people are like, JT's game isn't really perfect because he voted for not Coach when Coach went home, but he voted not for Coach, so Coach should vote for him at the end because Coach's ego needed that. Yeah, that's what's more important,
right?
So
especially when you already knew Coach was going home. But anyways. Back to Jane and Fabio winning individual immunity.
Tell me about it.
No, I was just really happy because even after Jane won, like all the other women dropped out, she kept going.
She beasted.
And she beat Marty. She kept going until Fabio was done.
Yeah,
like she was the last
Fabio,
one.
basically.
Yeah.
Fabio didn't care about dropping when he dropped. It wasn't like a matter of pride for him, but it's a matter of pride for Jane.
Yeah. It was
a
cute.
Good moment, but if you think about it, like there are times when, thankfully it didn't happen here, but like, oh, you just proved how big of a challenge beast you are. But like, Jane's an older lady,
right?
So the perception's already not that.
Yes, she's not going to be perceived as much of a threat until later in the show, and it wasn't because of her challenges, I don't think.
But if it was Fabio who did this to the other group, to the women, let's say the women outlasted all the men for some reason, and he just like, oh no, I'm gonna keep doing this to. People be like, dang, Fabio's a challenge.
Yeah.
Like, look at him.
Yeah.
But no, because it was Jane, it was like, yeah, ha ha, Jane, ha ha, she's so funny, ha ha ha. But like in reality, Jane is pretty good at challenges. So
she was.
She's no slouch. All right, so Lena calls herself a pawn and then is voted off. I hardly knew ye, Alina. You were barely anybody in the season. All right. Although at Ponderosa, the Ponderosa videos for season, Alina is so salty, and her and Marty become like BFFs basically at Ponderosa because they're both like, they think they're so smart and everyone else is dumb in comparison to them. And so everyone else comes to Ponderosa like, oh my gosh, these two people, like Alina and Marty, hang out with them now. Think they're so, they just think they're the smartest people ever. And if they're so good, then why are they here at Ponderosa? That's what people will say. So anyways, episode 9, Chase is paranoid and he's annoying Brenda because Chase has not really been much of a character all season. But one thing that we know is that he has a thing for Brenda. It's not said that way, but read the room. I mean, Chase has the hots for Brenda. Yeah. That's why he just trusts her no matter what. He's like, I don't know what it is about Brenda, but I trust her. Like, dude, it's because she's hot. Like, obviously.
Right.
Like, who's going to deny that? Even you would say she's hot, Mary, right?
Yeah, she's very good looking.
Yeah. It's because she's hot, Chase. Duh. Anyway, so he never says that, but but by this point, he's annoying her.
Yeah, I don't remember why he gets paranoid or how. Maybe it's because Alina got voted out, and so he's not sure where.
This is like Chase's flip-flop phase. Yeah. He gets to the end of the game where he's like. But
Nyanka's like, don't go over to Brenda and start, being paranoid and asking her questions and stuff. And he's like, okay, I won't. And then he goes over to Brenda. He's like, you're not voting me out, right? I'm safe, right? Everything's good, right? We're still on the same plan, right? And Brenda's like, yeah, okay. And I don't know. She just got really annoyed by him.
Yeah. You know what? It's crazy to me is that I remember Brenda being a bigger character this season than she really was. She wasn't really that big of a character.
She kind of ran her tribe for a long time. The younger tribe. She was the one in charge of the younger tribe.
But character-wise, she wasn't that big of a character.
Sure.
So it's weird to me. She gets brought back for Caramellan for fans of favorites too.
Because she's smart, sense? She's a good player, and she's good looking.
They need an attractive female.
Yeah.
If you look at the cast for fans of favorites too, she's the most attractive one there. So that kind of makes sense in that sense.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I value character more. And I'm like, I don't know if I would have brought her back. Trying to think what other woman this season could they have brought back? Someone Holly. For that gender. Yeah. And I see why they would pick Brenda over Holly, even though I think Holly would have been better for that season. Anyway, so you'll see when we get there. I like Caramellan, even though most people don't. All right, so Marty loses immunity to Brenda. So Brenda has immunity. Mm-hmm. Nyanka at Tribal Council just goes off on everybody. I don't even remember why. I didn't write that detailed of notes. I'm just like, this is just Nyanka. She's getting on. And then she's getting mad at Fabio, and Fabio's like, oh, like, come on, Nyanka.
Yeah. I don't remember why. Oh, I think Marty brought up, because Marty was afraid he was going.
Yeah.
So Marty brought up, I don't know why I'm in trouble when the person who stole our food and our pans and stuff, is not, nobody's even talking about that.
Think about that too.
Which is fair.
Because she did that the previous episode. Didn't go home. Alina did.
Right.
Okay. So she's still there. I think at this point you have to view Nyanka as a goat, right? Mm-hmm. She was going, I think she was going to the end. Mm-hmm. Even at that tribal where she quit, I don't think she was being voted off.
Right.
I think I think Chase was bringing Nyanka to the end.
Because she's drama and no one would probably vote for her.
He tries to keep her. He's like, Nyanka, you got to stay. And like, it's because I want you at the end so I can beat you.
Yeah.
He doesn't say that, but he should have. I was trying to see if there was any notes on this tribal council on the Wikipedia, on the Survivor Wiki.
Well, basically they just have a big fight and Marty still ends up getting voted out.
That's what's more important. Yeah, that's what's more
important. Because he gave up his idol and didn't get it back.
Yeah.
And so therefore he's a goner.
This older tribe's getting decimated. Dan is the last man from the older tribe.
Yeah.
Dan.
True. True.
And Jane at this point has voted for Marty 5 times in a row. Mm-hmm. What?
Yep.
What? All right. Also, let's keep track of the jury as we go. So Alina, I don't really know who she likes at this point. At this point.
Yeah, at this point.
But at the end of the season, she's gonna be like, I want to vote for a man, not a boy. And I'm like, does Alina have the hots for? Has she like been on Ponderosa for so long? She's like, I wish there was like somebody hotter here. Because Alina ends up voting for Chase.
Yeah.
But like nothing really indicates.
But she was really mad at Chase, wasn't she, when she got voted out?
Yeah, I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Nothing in the season really indicated before that final tribal, like that I recall, why she liked Chase.
Well, as we've said, it's really hard to tell with the first boot what they're going to do.
Of the merge. Yeah. But she's been on the tribe with Chase before. And like, I'm just saying, like, nothing really. It was just like, I don't want to vote for a boy. I want to vote for a man.
Yeah.
All right, Alina. Okay. Let's get out of here. Marty here gets voted off. He's going to vote for Fabio come final tribal.
Yes.
And I think that makes sense. We didn't see him connect to Chase at all.
No.
And he connected with Marty. And he connected with Fabio. And I think Fabio, you know what it is Marty doesn't feel intimidated by Fabio too. Like he doesn't feel challenged by him. Mm-hmm. Whereas Chase he might feel challenged by like, oh, I should be in Chase's spot. But he doesn't feel like he should be in Fabio's spot.
Right.
I'm just thinking about that from the ego perspective.
Well, Marty does have an ego.
Yes. So episode 10, Holly says Brenda is running things and she's got to go. And to an extent, I believe her and Sash basically said last episode or 2 episodes ago, we're running the show. Mm-hmm. We determined who's going.
And they really were.
And within like 2 episodes, that goes because once Brenda's voted off, that's done. Mm-hmm. Sash doesn't run the tribe anymore.
No, he's gone. Brenda was the main force.
This episode, last episode they did do, some things I do like about this season and this era is that they do still have money to do fun things. So like last episode, they got to do their zip lining over Nicaragua, which is kind of cool, though the players didn't seem that hyped up about it.
Yeah.
For whatever reason.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Fabio enjoyed it. I think Benry enjoyed it.
So this episode, volcano surfing.
Yeah, that's pretty
which
cool.
was pretty cool. And it's funny because we had the volcano surfing and then they're all sitting around eating and Chase like, you don't really talk much, do you? To Purple Kelly. She's like, I know, it's kind of funny, right? And that's it. And like they left this in as a joke for the purple edit. This is what we mean, the purple edit. Like there's like any shots of like Purple Kelly are not flattering.
Right.
It's like, yeah. Like, what did this girl do? She's in a bikini out there in Nicaragua and she ends up quitting. They're just really like, they're not happy about the double quit.
No.
They needed to put it on, somebody's paying for it.
Yeah.
And it wasn't Nyanka. So, all right. They get back to their camp and their fire has burned their camp and their food, but not really their camp, just like singed their camp, I would say. Because you'll see the beams like just have like fire marks on them, but like they're not burned down. Though it does burn part of their tarp.
Their shelter didn't get burned down, but all of their food got burnt.
And their tarp got a big old hole
and
in
their tarp got a hole on it, which was very well. And that's,
I think production stopped the
what's
fire.
even more frustrating is this was the group that lost the reward challenge. So they come home, they've lost the reward challenge, and there's no food. So it was a very depressing day.
Here's the thing. This is stuff like this has happened before. So, for example, season 2, a river comes in because they built their camp on the dry riverbed. And they're, and one person's like, I don't know. It's called a dry riverbed for a reason. Like, some point this year, it's going to be not dry. But they still built it there because it was softer to lay on. So when the river comes in from all the rain and washes their whole camp, there's nothing production could have done to stop that. That was happening. There's like one guy there with a camera. You can tell by the anyway. So season 6, the Amazon, you might remember this. This is the first deep dive we ever did. This is years ago though. So the Amazon, Butch is a firewood nut. He is storing firewood. He puts it under their shelter. He puts it by the fire. They have a separate place for the fire. Well, season 6, they go to a challenge and the fire's still booming, but it catches all that dry wood, and it burns their camp, burns all their personal supplies.
Yeah.
It burns like everything. They have to rebuild from scratch. Like production may have stopped it from burning the Amazon forest, but it didn't stop it from burning down their camp.
Right.
Because I think we have to remember they still have to be conscious of where they're at and they can't like just let a wildfire take place because these survivors are dumb. Here, I felt like the fire would have kept going. And maybe not, but I felt like I felt like it got put out after it burned the food and a little bit of the shelter. Like, I feel like it would have burned the shelter.
Probably, yeah.
If I feel like somebody,
unless maybe it started raining, but I mean,
you're right though. It does rain so often this season. That could be it. I'm not saying this is like this affects. Like, I'm not saying production interference in a sense of like, oh, they're like people will be like production wants this person to win or anything. I'm just saying like. I think they may have stopped it earlier than they have previously to not burn down Nicaragua. I
think they should. Yeah.
And each place might have their own rules about how this works too.
Right.
Because the Amazon where they went is not the same place, obviously, as Nicaragua.
Right.
Same with Australian Outback. So they might be different. Well, Australian Outback, what were they going to do? Stop the river? So yeah. And I'm sure other times have been fires that have burned stuff. I mean, but yeah, I just want to point out that I think more of this camp would have been burned down if somebody hadn't stepped in and stopped it.
Right.
But they do lose all their food and part of their tarp. So fire burns. Okay. So Chase snitches on the plan to Brenda. Because I think at this point, people are like, we're voting off Brenda. So he tells her because he just doesn't. He says he doesn't know why. I don't know what it is, but I really trust Brenda, but I don't know what it is. He says that multiple times. I don't know what it is, but I really trust Brenda. Brenda never says anything like that about Chase.
Right. No. She's just trying to play the game.
She's just playing the game, and Chase like, I don't know what it is. I don't know, but I really trust Brenda. Maybe like I trust her at the movie theater with my arm around her while we're watching a romantic comedy, and maybe afterwards I'll trust her to give her a kiss, and afterwards maybe I'll trust her to like go on a second date, like that. Chase got a lot of trust, like that kind of trust.
That kind of trust.
Yeah. We have that kind of trust. Would you say?
Sometimes.
We're married. All right. So anyways, yeah. Jane beats Chase for immunity. It's why I'm saying Jane's no slouch.
Yes. I think this was the one where you had to hold on to the rope and not fall in the pool.
If it's about not, yeah, you're right.
If it's about just like holding on and gritting your teeth, Jane
has the endurance. Yeah. She's no joke with the endurance. So Brenda's voted off, and she will be the only player here to return on Caramone Fans vs. Favorites 2, aka season 26. So we're keeping track of that now, because everyone who's on that season is from seasons 21 through 25, with the exception of Corinne, who comes from Gabon, who Mary loves Corinne. All right, so episode 12, Purple Kelly gets her first confessional of the episode. But frankly, has not had any confessionals outside of episode 7, when she said milk girl milk.
Yeah, I don't remember what her confessional was.
I don't know. I just pointed out that she got the first one of the episode because this is the quit. So they all of a sudden are giving her a reason to be invested in her at all. So when she quits, you're not just like, oh, I don't even know who that is. You're like, oh, that's dumb that she quit. That's what they want you to feel. You want to be angry. Nyanka is also on board with quitting. And she just gives Chase her idol.
She's like, I'm quitting. I'm going to give this to you.
This whole episode takes place over one day. It's day, I think, 26.
Oh, this is such a frustrating episode.
In Modern Survivor, they wouldn't need to quit. This would be the end of the game.
Right.
But here in the good old days, the 39 days, this is 2/3 of the way.
Yeah, 2/3. Like, you're already gotten 2/3.
You're so close.
I'm so, still upset.
Or it's day 28.
And this was 12 years ago.
Let me double check. It's 26 or 28 at this point. When did they quit? They quit on day 28. No, Modern Survivor, the season been done 2 days ago. They'd be at home.
Yeah.
So anyways. All right, it's day 28. Both of them are giving up. But remember, I cannot imagine the position Survivor's in right now, right? So 2 people want to quit, but they have to promote a movie this episode. They somehow have to make this episode not like a complete dumpster fire from these 2 people. Jeff's like, the winners get to go watch Gulliver's Travels starring Jack Black, and just like Survivor. And I'm like, Mary, I wish every season we had a movie reward. And they somehow to relate this ridiculous movie that's going to be in theaters to Survivor. It's about not giving up or whatever. And this for this one, I don't know. This is the better of the 2 movies they'll promote on the show.
It's somewhat more relatable, I guess.
It's better than Jack and Jill.
Yeah. Jack
and Jill is horrendous. Gulliver's Travels is okay. Anyway, so they're promoting Gulliver's Travels, so they can be in theater soon. So yeah, but at the Gulliver's Travel challenge, you get Dan Dan doesn't get picked, and he's just sitting in a big old Gulliver's Travels chair, and he's just swinging his legs. He's like a little baby on a big chair, that's what it looks like, but it's not. It's a grown man. They just built a large chair for this grown man for Gulliver's Travels.
It's pretty funny.
Have you ever seen that movie?
I don't know. I don't think so.
I think I tried watching it back when it was on DVD, when it came on DVD, and I was like, yeah, it's okay. I think it's fine. It's a kid's movie, but not in a kid's movie where it's oh, adults will also enjoy this. It's kind of this is just dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's kind of like modern SpongeBob, dumb. Old SpongeBob, good for everybody. Modern SpongeBob, dumb. All right. Purple. Okay. So then at the end of the reward challenge, Purple Kelly and Nyanka both say, hey, we're okay with quitting right now. We're fine. And just no. No. Why are you guys quitting? He's does his best to stop them without actually saying you cannot quit. Yeah. And they're like, oh, it's been good. We had a good time. It was fun, but we want to leave.
Right.
And just I'll give you till tribal council tonight. So then he's like, all right.
There shouldn't have been a tribal council that night, right? But he just did that.
Tribal council normally would have been day 30. Right. This is day 28.
Right.
I imagine. Or day 29 at worst. So anyways, Jeff's like, okay, on a separate note, I am offering you tarp and rice if one person sits out of the reward challenge. And Holly ends up sitting out, but everyone's looking at Nyanka you just said to Jeff you're quitting.
Right. She gives her the eye.
Yeah.
No, this,
even
right?
Benry's
oh yeah,
dude, why isn't Nyanka sitting out? She's leaving tonight. But Nyanka, so selfish. And the way she pitches it too is well, I earned the win. I'm keeping the reward. And it's you're going to get all this same stuff at Ponderosa in 6 hours. But it's I don't know, man. I could see some people agreeing with Nyanka's decision here, but I think I only agree with Nyanka's decision if she was debating whether to leave. She wasn't. She was very adamant about leaving. It's dude, you really don't care about anyone else but yourself.
Right.
So Holly ends up sitting out. She ends up seeing other reward, and they do get tarpon rice to make up for the tarpon rice they lost. It's a very nice Survivor, by the way. Normally, they'd be like, well, sucks to be you guys.
Right.
Or you need to give us something. But what do they have to give them? They burned all their stuff.
Yeah. It was really nice. This was a good idea, obviously, of Jeff. They didn't have any food. They didn't have any rice. This was a good compromise.
Like, what are they going to trade him for food and rice?
Right. There was nothing that they had to do. So somebody stepping out. And obviously, this was pre-planned before.
And Survivor doesn't need them completely drained of energy.
Right.
What was pre-planned?
It was pre-planned to give them the rice, or to offer this before Nyanka and Purple Kelly said they were going to quit.
Yeah. This was pre-planned just to make up for their burning down their camp, because they need them eating something.
Right.
Because I think technically they need to be eating something so they don't die.
Right. Exactly. You can't just do that.
I mean, they give them so little food on purpose, so they are starving and they're like angry, but like they don't give them very much. So anyways, they give them enough rice to get them through the end of the game. They give them a tarp. And we go to Tribal Council. It's just like a berate fest by Jeff of like, why are you two quitting? I cannot believe you both are quitting. What should we do with your torches? And Nyanka's like, why don't you just snuff it? And same with Purple Kelly. And he does snuff it, but it's like Jeff actually didn't know what to do. He's hoping they had something better, I guess.
I think he wanted to throw him in the fire.
We'll throw him in the ocean. We're putting out your flame with the ocean. He's like, and we're going to leave him here on the ground to let everyone know you quit the game. Yeah. And Nyanka and Purple Kelly are just like, okay, that's fine. Like, he wants them to feel
bad,
but neither of them feel bad.
No,
both people like, that's fine. That's cool.
Yeah.
They still get to be on the jury, and I'm sure they still got paid whatever their pay was for being on the show. But after this season, the rule does change. If you quit during the jury phase, you are not on the jury.
Good.
And I'm pretty sure if you quit, you don't get paid either. I think, I don't know if that rule change came with.
Well, it should be.
I mean, and I don't know though. Like, that could be, I don't know if I'm sure they still get paid, is what I'm saying. I can't say that. I mean, why would you just not get paid? I don't know. I can't speak on that.
Because you didn't do what you signed up to do. You broke your contract.
Yeah, I can't speak on that. I mean, you were on the show though. But anyways, but for sure, if you make jury, but you quit during the jury phase from now on, you won't be on the jury. So I think they actually did a good thing here doing that new rule, because they're not rewarding quitters. And if no season after this, has anybody quit during the jury phase? Good. That I know of. I know we have medical evacuations and stuff, but like nobody quits during the jury phase. So yeah, sucks for Survivor. And Gulliver's Travels is just like, let's be one of your episodes. We'll advertise during and everything, and it'll be a nice, fun episode of Survivor. Instead, no, it's the double quit episode. It's like one of the
worst episodes of Survivor.
By the way, for me, this is when the season tanks.
Yeah.
Season's pretty, like, I would say like 6 out of 10 through this episode. The last 3 episodes, I'm like, oh, it's like a slog to get through. Nyanka, come back.
No.
Nyanka, come back. All right, episode 13. Season's feeling slow now. I mean, who is Sash, by the way? Sash annoys people, and both you and I were like, Sash isn't winning. We're like, who is Sash?
I mean, he's been a player this whole time.
It's just like, who is Sash?
We hear confessionals from him a lot.
Yeah, who is Sash? Who is? I'm not saying
he's a guy from New York.
He's not visible in the show. I'm just
who
like,
thinks he's
Sash?
Smart and thinks he's good with people, and he's not good with people. Yeah.
Yeah. And Chase is like this even keel flip flopper. He's constantly trying to like get the target off his back. And I mean, to some extent, it must have worked, because
he got to the end.
He was 1 vote shy.
Yeah.
So, anyways, let's talk about these jurors and who they're gonna vote for. Brenda still votes for Chase at the end.
Yes. Not Sash.
Purple Kelly. Well, she doesn't vote for Fabio. Purple Kelly and Nyanka both vote for Fabio. So at this point, we have Fabio's winning 3-2. And I don't know if there's anything. I'm so actually surprised Nyanka picked Fabio over Chase, because we see Nyanka and Chase connecting. Like, they're friends.
She gave him the idol.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, Nyanka's that wild card vote. Like, why did she pick Fabio over Chase?
Yeah, I don't know.
When I go through the story videos for the season, I'm really going to have to look at that, because I don't fully understand right now, just watching season once and podcasting with you about it. So, yeah, for those who are listening on podcast platforms, I do like these in-depth analysis videos on the players, and like Fabio's going to get one. I do one for every winner, and yeah, Why did Nianca vote for him over Chase? I have a big question I have right now.
I feel like if I could just, like my gut feeling about this anyways, is that sure, Nianca connected with Chase, but I think once she got to the jury and other people got to the jury and she heard maybe how many alliances he did have and how many times he flip-flopped.
Maybe she felt lied to.
She felt probably lied to, which we don't know that from her jury questions, but that would just be my reasoning. And Fabio never did. Fabio was always real with her, and I think she really did appreciate realness, too. Even if it was cause fights or whatever.
She was already going to vote for Fabio going to Final Tribal based on her jury question, because she basically tells Fabio, "It's been a pleasure being with you," and then she lets him talk about how much he loves his mom, and that was her whole jury thing. Like Nianca did not come in hot with a bunch of like you expect her to come in like some drama, and she did not come with any drama at Final Tribal.
She was pretty even keeled.
Yeah, she got some food in her.
It's true.
Changes everybody.
Changes me.
All right, yeah. All right, so Sash tells Chase that Jane is the only one who could beat him at the end. Not true. But at this point, I do understand the point. Jane, I do believe, would be a jury favorite.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe Marty would be the only person not to vote for Jane.
Right.
But Jane, I think, would get a bunch of votes.
She would have. Yeah.
I mean, who doesn't like Jane? Marty is the answer. Chase doesn't bring. All right. So I'm pretty sure. Is this where Chase Yes. Chase promises Sash, hey, if I win reward, I'm bringing you. So when anything like that said in Survivor, guess who's winning the reward? Chase. Why I'll show that conversation. Yeah. And he doesn't bring Sash. Right. And it's just like, but why? But why make the promise?
Why make the promise? This is Chase. Like, he feels like an emotional player. He just like whatever he feels at that moment is what he decides to do.
He wants everyone to feel good, but he doesn't want to actually like. Yeah. He doesn't know how to say no almost, but he does, but he doesn't.
Right.
Like
he's a people pleaser.
Tells people, people pleaser. Yeah. And and you'll see this again later in season 23, a couple seasons from now with Coach. Coach will be weirdly enough, a people pleaser.
Yes. Oh yeah. He wants people to like him.
He wants people to like him, but he's afraid to say no. But then like, he's still, I don't know. It's just like, doesn't know how to balance that. So Chase kind of like a lesser version of that, a very much lesser version. Yeah. Okay. So he doesn't bring Sash a reward. Not that this ultimately affects their relationship. It's just kind of like, but why? And he conspires and
Sash conspires.
Sash conspires back at camp. Okay, and I was wondering why I wrote this, but okay. So I put, and Mary says he plays way too hard all the time. And I meant you. I was like, somebody on season plus. No. Mary, my wife, you
said at the time.
At this time, you're like, you just openly said, I didn't ask you. You're just like, Sash is playing really hard like all the time. He doesn't chill out at all.
No. And all of his playing is he always tries to be strategic. He's like, okay, so Chase promised this and he's not going to bring me. Yeah. So, I'm going to talk to the other players and I'm going to get them against him. But then, oh wait, no, Chase is good to bring to the end. I don't know. He's just constantly thinking. And it ruins his game because he's just words just spew out of his mouth all the time to the people he's around. Yeah. And it ends up biting him in the butt, I think.
That it does. Sash, I mean, and it's rumored, by the way, Mary, I don't know if I told you this. It's rumored that Sash may have promised Jane, I believe, that he would pay her mortgage if she voted for him to win the $1 million. And he won the $1 million, I'm guessing, because obviously that's the only way he would afford something like that. But it was rumored this happened. And you're not allowed to promise anybody anything like that.
Yeah.
Outside of the game, like, hey, if you do this for me, I will do something for you outside the game like that. Like, so.
Because that's bribery.
Well, yeah. Like, I think the most bribery, quote unquote, we've ever seen is like Vanuatu, like when Chris is at Final Tribal and Sarge is like, hey, we're going to go to a NASCAR race, right? And Chris is like, you better believe we're going to a NASCAR race. But like, come on, that's not comparable to
no.
paying off my mortgage, Yeah, that's huge. That's bribery. So episode 14. Oh, sorry. Benry gets voted off. Who is Benry?
Okay.
His name is.
You keep saying that.
No, I mean who are these people? No, like I know Sash the characters. So I feel like I never really got to know Sash as a person. Same with Chase to an extent, though I feel like Chase I did. Mary's giving me looks. Some of these people, I'm just like, I feel like I didn't connect with them. I guess is what I'm saying.
Sure, maybe you didn't connect with them.
I didn't connect them, so I feel like I didn't get to know. Like I know who Nianca is.
Yeah,
I know who Fabio is. I feel like kind of know who Chase is, though I'm not sure if Chase fully knows who he is.
Yes.
Is part of
and
why.
that's part of their young tribe problem. Maybe that's part of what Benry, and maybe that's why they flip-flop a lot, because they don't know what they want.
Because that's true. Like the older people, like kind of got a better sense of who they were as people, but the younger tribe, like some of these people, like who are they?
Yeah,
and that may be the question Chase is asking, like who am I? The deeper philosophical question for our podcast: Who am I? Who will I be when I grow up? All right, so Benry gets voted off. Benry's just a person. I'm like, he just seemed like he was there.
He was there.
He made it through 13 episodes.
He was part of an alliance with Fabio and Dan.
Yeah, he was a person on the season. All right, so episode 14. Fabio is now the target now. This is like not the same extent, but CGI Brett from Samoa. Where all of a sudden, CGI Brett's the biggest target here, and we need to go hard on getting him out, as Russell Hant said. Oh, CGI Brett stays here one more day, I'm going to die. But like before that, he was never mentioned as target. Here, the last episode, I will say, they said Fabio or Benry needs to go tonight. Benry went. If Fabio went there, who wins this season? Probably Chase. Or it's Chase versus Sash versus Holly.
Or Holly, probably.
Because I don't think Benry's going on an immunity run and winning the game. He didn't win any challenges the whole season. So yeah, Fabio's now the target, and they let him get one tribal too far apparently, because this is it. Chase promises Fabio to bring him on reward, and this actually does affect the relationship.
Yes.
Not that it has anything like Fabio isn't on the jury, so it doesn't affect whether he votes for him or anything like that. But unlike Sash, Fabio takes this a bit more personally. Chase wins reward, and this time he brings Sash, and then he gets to bring another person, and he brings Holly.
Well, he picked Holly first.
And he says, Jeff, what will happen with the losers?
No, you're right. They will be executed.
They will be taken executed. And like Jeff was like smiling. Like Jeff was like sitting on this or something.
Yeah, it was like no hesitation. What's going to happen to them? They'll be taken and executed.
Yeah, like Chase asked that. It's episode 14, by the way. And obviously he's asking this because this is the family reward.
Yeah.
So I think he's asking like what's going to happen? Like, do they get to hang out with their loved ones all back at camp?
Yeah.
But the way he asked it sounded like, yes, like, oh no, I'm worried for their lives. Not, do they get to hang out with their family? Yeah. So this is the family reward. Everyone gets emotional. Jeff doesn't get emotional. There will be some family rewards he does. This is not one of them. Yeah. Jeff doesn't really care about anybody here. That's why we haven't really talked about that tribal. Jeff is like constantly poking and prodding and like I think the double quit really sent him into like Jeff. I feel like elevates after the double quit. His poking and prodding of everybody. Like he cannot believe what's happening. So he says losers will be taken and executed. Fabio wins immunity. This is number 2 for him this season. Right. Very important. They're like, well, crap, Fabio's not going. And they're like, and so they got to vote Jane, basically. And then Jane's talking to him. She's like, hey, we voted off Dan. And then nobody will say a word to her that confirms that. This is the worst alliance ever. Not one of them can be like the bad guy for them.
Right. And I don't know why Dan couldn't go home this episode and Jane couldn't go home next. I mean, I know Jane is good at challenges.
Jane's better at challenges.
I get that.
And she's a jury threat.
But when did it become Sash, Holly, and Chase as the final 3? Like
that's what I'm saying.
That wasn't very confusing. Yeah, it wasn't explained very well because Chase and Jane were so tight this whole time. Yeah. And it was kind of like Sash and Holly just overrode him on this.
Just like, but
and he didn't try. Like he could have said, "Okay, you're gonna vote out Jane. She's, we're tight. I'm gonna take Jane, Jane, and Dan." And Fabio are going to vote for one of you.
Yeah, when did this alliance become like the major? Like what? It's episode 14. I'm confused as to why they all of a sudden became the power 3.
Right. That wasn't explained well. And so I feel like obviously it's just wrong because again, Chase and Jane have been so close.
I feel like I need to mention this is all based on just watching the season one time and taking casual notes.
Sure.
So when somebody comes along and explains the comments that, hey, there's when it happened. We just missed it.
Thank you for explaining it. Yes. Yeah. We do.
We say never explain. We mean we didn't hear the explanation.
Yes, I guess. I don't know.
But if they didn't explain it, they didn't explain it.
I do know that Sash probably convinced Chase because he came up to him and said, like you said before, Jane's going to win if we take her to the end. We can't take her. You have a better chance with me and Holly.
Oh, I get why Jane's voted off. Chase doesn't want to do it, but Chase
doesn't want to do it. So I do get it. But again, it's just like it felt so gross.
The way they handled it was wrong.
Yeah. And then Jane's so mad and she
nobody of the 3 could be the bad guy. So why can't Sash be the bad guy?
Because he doesn't have a spine.
Sash doesn't have a spine. Sash couldn't tell.
Holly was the one that basically said, "Yeah, this is what we're doing."
But
Sorry, Jane.
Holly wouldn't even agree to a final 3 with Fabio and Dan. So Holly's not really like the one to just speak. And we know Chase can't speak up worth his life.
No, because season. Holly is honest and loyal. Yeah. So yeah, when that happened, Holly was like, "Yeah, that's what we're talking about."
I'm saying every alliance needs one person to cover their crap, and nobody here is really going to do that. And tell Jane, "Hey, no, we're voting off Dan tonight."
Oh, which is what they need to do. Somebody to lie. Yes.
Yeah, they need a bad guy in their group.
I thought you meant bad guy saying, "Yeah, we're voting for you, Jane."
No, because that's the wrong move. What if Jane had an idol? We know Sash and Chase have idols now. By the way, that's why I said remember who has the idols, because Marty gives it to Sash and Naoki gives it to Chase. They have the idols now. Mm-hmm. There's no other idols that we know of, but they don't know that. You know, why isn't there another idol? There could be. You don't know. But there isn't. But there could have been. So by telling Jane this, they're risking this woman who's constantly out working, who could be out looking for idols as well. Telling her this is like risking it.
Right. And it was just not a good scene overall.
Dumb.
Yeah.
She asked them and they needed to be like, well, Dan sounds like a great idea. I don't see why we couldn't vote off Dan tonight.
Yeah.
Basically.
It's all, yeah.
And if you could get away with saying something like that without saying yes or no, it's not going to matter. Jane's still going to be mad at you.
Yeah.
But guess who Jane votes for at the end? Chase.
She still votes for Chase.
Yeah. So ultimately, go for it.
I guess.
You know? Not that Chase knew that she was going to vote for him at the end, but I'm saying they clearly had a tight connection. She wasn't connected with Fabio. You know? Just do it. Though at this point, they think it's going to be Holly, Sash, and Chase at the end.
Right.
So they're all three trying not to annoy Jane the most, I guess, out of the three of them. Yeah. Anyways, so they tell Jane to her face she's going. Chase looks so bad in this moment. He's the one that looks the worst to me. She then dumps the water on their fire. And this is, it's a move. It's an emotional move.
It doesn't help her.
It doesn't, well, she was going anyways.
Yeah.
But yeah, then we get to tribal council. Remember, we're at the final 6. And Jeff's like, hello, people. There's 3 of you and 3 of you. And like my mom would say, why don't they just vote together?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, great idea. Why don't they vote together? Because of pride.
Well, and they don't want to tie. And
well, okay, so let's think about this logistically. Yes, because here's what happens. Let's say everyone who is listening, let's say there's a vote, right? There's a vote, obviously. I mean, there's a tie vote. So Fabio has immunity. Mm-hmm. Chase and Sash play their idols. They do like a look with each other and play their idols. It felt like kind of like cheesy the way they did it.
Yeah.
That's neither here nor there. So they're safe. That's 3 people safe. So no matter which 2 people we're getting voted for, in this case, it's Holly and it's Jane. Mm-hmm. Let's do a split vote. 3 for Holly, 3 for Jane. Here's what would have happened. They deadlock. Nobody switches. We go to Rocks. Dan's out because Dan's the only one who is eligible to go out. So Dan doesn't have a reason to keep a tie vote. Dan needs to flip. No matter what Jane was going, is what I'm saying. Because those 3, Holly, Chase, and Sash, were all immune.
Right.
What's their motivation for flipping on their vote? They don't have one. Mm-hmm. So the 3 lesser people, in this case, Fabio, Dan, and Jane, well, Dan has a huge reason to flip. Mm-hmm. So like, why even bother?
Right.
Yeah. Why even bother doing a 3-3? Mm-hmm. Yeah. The only way this would have worked if somehow Dan also had an idol and then everybody's immune. And then I guess everybody go back.
Nobody goes home.
Well, what they would do, I assume if that ever happened, by the way, because they have set it up quite a few times or feels like this could happen. Everybody could be immune. Everybody play their stuff right. I think what they would do is they'd be like, there's no vote tonight. I mean, here's what I hope they do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the next tribal, we vote off 2 people.
Yeah.
We do it back to back. That's the only way. But I'm not sure how that would work. But that hasn't come up in 40 whatever seasons now. So I'm not really sweating it. But yeah, I think, yeah, that's what would happen. That's why this vote happens and Jane goes out. Mm-hmm. So we go to the finale and it's just like, yep, season's still chugging along here. Okay. All right. Fabio offers Holly a final 3 and she goes, It's like almost the noise she makes.
Basically.
Yeah,
she just kind of doesn't really say anything.
You, me, and Dan. And I'm like, actually, that's a better deal than Chase and Sash.
Yes. She had a much higher chance of winning with
I think she beats Fabio and Dan.
Yeah.
Dan's not getting the votes.
Right.
Fabio, I think it's Nyanka's vote. Mm-hmm. Probably it's Purple Kelly's vote. He probably gets 2 or 3, but I don't think Fabio wins the majority of the jury. Holly's there.
Right.
I don't know, though. I don't know if Holly's a beloved person by the jury. But
I don't know.
Holly has an option here.
Yeah.
To pick a different pair of two to go to the end with.
Mm-hmm.
Would Chase and Sash feel so betrayed that they vote for... I think Sash votes for Holly.
Yes, I don't think he's... he might
I think
have
Sash would be
Fabio, but...
wow, what a great strategic move.
Yeah.
She's so smart. That's the thing I would have done.
Yeah.
You know, like, I feel like Sash wouldn't vote for Fabio. It doesn't fit what Sash likes. Wouldn't vote for Dan.
Mm-hmm.
Same with Chase. I think Chase would vote for Holly.
And Chase was tight with Holly the whole time, yeah.
I think Holly wins.
That's Holly's... I don't want to say downfall, but it's just part of her personality where she's super loyal, though. And
hearing her be so salty post game, though, it's like, Holly, you're at fault. You could have won. You had the option. Mm-hmm. It wasn't like Fabio single-handedly voted you out of this game. You got voted out by your own alliance, and you had the option of going to the end with two people you would have beat, and you chose not to.
Yep.
This is your fault.
It's true.
This is like, you cannot affect what other people do. You can only affect what you do. Mm-hmm. And you did this.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. She is loyal and that's a good thing. But here, I think she blew the idea out. She didn't even consider it.
Right.
Like she just threw it away. This is garbage idea. No, This is actually a great idea.
It was a good idea.
Think about the jury. Are they going to vote for Dan? I think Dan 0 votes. Fabio 2 or 3 votes.
Mm-hmm.
Think Marty, Nyanka, Purple Kelly vote for Fabio.
Yeah.
I don't know if Fabio gets any other votes than that. But Marty might vote for Holly. Holly's the sole older person at the end. He might be like, the older person could win. Because remember, at this point, Holly's the last. I mean, Dan's going to be voted off here. Yeah, Mary's giving me the wind it up sign. But I'm saying that, think about it, at the end, Marty might vote for Holly because she's the only person there representing the original older tribe.
I only do the wind it up when we get too far down the rabbit hole. This is like the too far down the what could have happened.
My rabbit hole, though, I'm saying that I think she might have had more votes than even I'm considering.
No, I understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would have been a good choice for her.
It would have been a great choice. All right, Mary doesn't want to get too deep into this. So Fabio wins immunity, number 3 on the season. Mm-hmm. Dan's voted out, and he is livid in his final words. He's like, I hate Chase and Sash, and they're both screw them. You know, I didn't catch everything he said, but
he was mad at them.
He was,
which is kind of funny since he wanted to quit a couple of times, but whatever.
So with Dan voted off, we go to the next episode, and Fabio's like, oh, Chase and Sash, let's be the final 3. And Sash is like, yeah, definitely. And Chase is like, ooh,
yeah.
You won't commit to nothing.
He's not committal.
So final 4 immunity. We have, can you explain this challenge?
So they have swords that they have to basically set on a shield, which is not really like smooth at all. And then they stack these coins of different sizes that are also not really smooth on top of the hilt of the sword. So it's not really endurance. I guess it's kind of endurance, but it's more of like a concentration because you just have to be super steady and focused on what you're doing.
I think definitely fair to, they tried, as I said, building challenges that were fair to, because they didn't know who's going to be at the final 3. Mm-hmm. For younger and older. And this, Fabio wins and he's the youngest, but like an older person could have won. Jane could have won this. Mm-hmm. So it was very fair. I liked it. It's a good challenge. Most comparable challenge would be the final 4 immunity, I believe it was, in China when they stacked plates.
Right. The porcelain.
Yeah. Bowls. I don't know which one I like more, the plates or the coins. Which one do you like?
Well, I think they both are visually appealing and they both fit the theme of the season. So I don't know. I kind of like the coins and the swords. I feel like that might be a little bit more difficult than the bowls and plates. I don't know because all the coins are just uneven and not as like with the bowls. You had 3 sizes and they're all the same. So you kind of knew what you're getting to with
more
a large.
Fair,
maybe more fair. This one was a little bit more random, I think.
Yeah. And he said that he's like, these are just coins we built for Survivor. These aren't like local currency. I will say that I do like if you think about it, though it wasn't said, I like the idea of like this, like you're playing for $1 million, right? And you're stacking money. Mm-hmm. I mean, money, $1 million.
Sure.
This is the final challenge. So thematically, I like it more, but I agree with you. I'm like wondering like, okay, all the coins are like, so like, does some people have an unfair advantage without knowing it because the coins aren't all the same? You know, I think the porcelain, like them all being the same means everyone has an equal. It
was probably more equal.
It was more equal. I'm not saying anything here is rigged or anything, but I'm saying that it's less equal. It's more random in that sense.
Although everyone's stack was kind of leaning. Like, I don't think, I don't think it was necessarily unfair. It was just maybe a little bit more difficult.
Sure. Okay. So Holly ends up getting voted off. I'm a little surprised Chase doesn't go here.
Right.
But why doesn't So why? All right, let's talk this through. Why don't they target Sash?
Well, Sash, nobody likes Sash. And I think everybody knows that nobody likes Sash. Even Fabio was catching on to his like two-facedness during this time. I mean, they get back to camp and Fabio's all excited that he won. He knows he screwed with everybody's plan.
He is like so laughing.
Yeah.
He's laughing.
And Chase and Holly go off to the water hole, which I don't know if you noticed this, but Holly's like, let's go get water. Anybody want to go? Chase, you want to go? Let's go, Chase. Come on. And it looked like Chase wanted to sit there and talk, but he just went with Holly. But anyways, so Fabio's like, so what are you thinking or whatever, and Sasha's like, well, I think it's Holly, right? And Fabio says, well, I don't know. I haven't decided.
Yeah. The way Sash says it, he's like so confident. Fabio's like, yeah, I don't know yet, actually. And you see on Sash's face, wait, it could be me.
Yeah. And so Sash's like, well, let's count the jury. So he starts going through the jury and he's trying to basically say everybody's going to vote for Chase. He's like, oh yeah, you're right, man. We should definitely have paused and maybe
Sash
we shouldn't go for
off.
Holly. And you can just see on Fabio's face though. He doesn't believe anything Sash is saying. So maybe he believes that a lot of the jury would vote for Chase. I don't know. But there is a confessional where Fabio says, Holly's never done anything wrong to me. Everybody really likes Holly. She's like been the mom figure. Yeah. So I think that was his thought process of he didn't know if he could beat Holly. He thought he could probably had a better chance against Chase, which he was right. Yeah. Ended up being right.
Yeah, no, ultimately he makes the right decision. I'm just saying, I wonder why Chase isn't picked over Holly in terms of being voted off. But you're right. We just earlier said how if Holly gives the final 3 with Fabio and Dan, she likely gets 6 votes out of the 9. Or maybe even 7. So no, he made the right decision. It
does seem like Chase is the biggest threat here at this point. But again, if you think about it, like, why? What did Chase ever really do?
I think Chase gets the benefit of being like, he's the dominant male figure and he is ripped.
He looks like a prototypical.
Yeah. Holly doesn't look like your prototypical, what you expect out of what the media has told us, like a winner. Right. So that's why we think that.
Yeah.
But Holly definitely is going to win. So, all right. Holly gets voted off. Good choice. We go to the jury. They give opening speeches. I don't really remember any of them. People said words.
Yeah. They weren't very memorable.
No, they weren't very memorable. It's kind of this season in general. All right. So Brenda's the first juror. And basically, she doesn't like Sash. And she seems to like Chase. Nothing really on Fabio. We kind of determined, her and Chase were the closest, I guess.
Even though her and Sash worked really closely together the whole time. So I don't know what happened.
But she openly says that she doesn't like Sash at this final tribal. So it kind of clears up.
Yeah.
Even though they work together, I guess she just doesn't like the dude. I mean, you can work with somebody and not like them, I guess. And you said earlier, Brenda's all business.
Yep, she is.
So that's a vote for Chase. Marty is the second juror. Well, what does he ask Chase?
Oh my gosh. This is like one of the dumbest questions I've heard. But basically he says, Chase, you have to hand out the Dumb as Rocks award.
Yeah, Dumb as a Box of Rocks award.
Yeah, you can't hand it out to anybody up there because you guys made it to the end. You can only give it to somebody in the jury.
No, he said it could be anybody up there or somebody in the jury.
He said you cannot give it to anybody up there because they're in the final 3. So obviously they're not as dumb as rocks.
He says it could be one of you 3, the Dumber Than Bag of Hammers award. It could be somebody in the jury, but it cannot be me, Marty.
Okay.
So he really wants Chase to say it's Chase, or he wants him to burn one of the jury.
Sure.
I guess he really doesn't like Chase. It's
just a no-win situation, honestly.
Yeah. Chase's best answer would have been, I don't even know. I can't say that nobody's dumber than a bag of hammers. I mean, maybe he could say Fabio. I don't know if that would have gone well. Maybe he could say Sash because nobody likes Sash. I don't know who the right answer is. Not that Marty's going to vote for him.
Yeah, no, it doesn't matter.
You don't want to also burn anybody on the jury.
Yeah.
So it's hard to answer this question. So anyways, all right. So Marty clearly likes Fabio. He's voting for Fabio.
Yeah, he said he's really proud of him or whatever when he got up there.
Yeah, after Chase gets done fighting with him. So Holly's the third juror, and she asked Chase what his best move was. And I don't like when this happens. Well, not that question. It's a good question. She was presenting Chase the opportunity to win the jury in a sense. She's like, Chase, what was your best move you made in this game? Chase references something from the pre-jury, and it's like, who cares?
Yeah.
We're day 39 pre-jury. Like, that's like the first half of the game. Who remembers any of that stuff? None of the pre-jury are here.
Right.
So it's kind of like,
Well, also, and it didn't really help him, I don't think, because he said his big move was to take a risk and align with people he trusted. But then his whole game,
what a big move.
he backstabbed people he quote unquote trusted.
And people say that, yeah.
Right. So it was like, oh, I made it. My best move was to work with people I trusted and then not work with any of you that I told you I trusted. So I don't know. It wasn't a good answer.
Just a classic flip-flop answer from Chase here.
Yeah.
Sash, she asked Sash if he lied to her and he admits he did. Like, okay, all right. I don't know. That's not move. Like this whole part's not moving the needle. She's just trying to give them both like some credence, I think, with the jury.
Sure.
I mean, nobody really cares. This is not good. This is not a good. I guess it wasn't a good question for these two to answer. Good questions for them to answer because it is. I don't think it does anything. Also, these two are not. Sash like has some charisma. Chase has, in my opinion, has very little charisma this season. Fabio has all the charisma of these three. Like he has more charisma than all three of them. All right, so Jane is the fourth juror, and she basically comes out there and says, "I hate you, Sash."
Yeah.
Basically, she likes Chase though. Doesn't say a word to Fabio.
Yep. That was it.
So that's clearly a Chase vote. Oh, Holly also is a Chase vote as well. So at this point, it's 3-1. Fabio's down. Benry's the fifth juror, and he basically just likes Fabio and rips into Sash. This is a pretty straightforward final tribal. There's not like huge moments or anything in it.
No.
Yeah, I feel like we've been spoiled the last like 4 or 5. Like heck, I would say from seasons 13 through 20, we had great final tribals. Like I can name moments from each of those, but I can't name a moment from this final tribal. I was like, that was good.
Right.
I do miss, I think the best part for me is the next one. So Dan is the sixth juror and he calls Sash spineless. Dan coming in
very
hot.
Salty. Yeah.
But I love it. He's the only person this whole final tribal. I'm like, oh yeah, this is why I miss this format.
Yeah.
They don't do this in Modern Survivor anymore. Now it's a group talk and then the show gets picked if they want to cut somebody out, basically, which I don't like. I like when everyone gets their time to shine.
Right.
He tells Chase he backstabbed everyone.
True.
Picking back off your point earlier, where you said, Chase, like, my big moves, aligning with people I trust. Okay, Chase. All right. All right. So Purple Kelly's the seventh juror, and they're probably like, how do we edit her out of the show? Does she have to be a juror who talks?
She still gets her question.
She still gets her question. What's her question?
I think she asked Sash what his biggest mistake was. No, I don't remember. Honestly.
I don't know. My notes aren't as detailed. We just watched this last night, but it's just like, it's so not memorable. So anyways, she comes up and Sash, it sounds like he's bragging in a sense, but Purple Kelly liked the answer. I think she asked each of them, and the only person I wrote down was about Sash. So he says they should have voted him out at the merge. And it's like kind of like shoving their faces. Also, Sash during this final tribal keeps hammering home how it's not about outlasting, because they all outlasted everybody else. It's about outwitting and outplaying. And he like really hammers that, how he outwitted and how he outplayed everyone. And it's like, okay.
Yeah.
People get too caught up in that. It's the show slogan, maybe outwit, outplay, outlast, but that's not how you win the game. It's not outwitting is not how you win the game.
People voting for you, people liking you.
Getting to the end, have people vote for you. But that's not as catchy of a slogan.
Yeah.
It's not a slogan you're going to put on a t-shirt. So outwit, outplay, outlast. So anyways, Nayaka's the eighth juror. She tells Fabio, it's been a pleasure. You talk about when you got to see your mom, and Fabio gets emotional. It's the only emotional moment we get in the whole.
And we show a couple, I think Brenda started crying at that point too, when Fabio was talking, which she doesn't end up voting for Fabio, but it was like a good question.
Brenda's voting for Chase.
Yeah, sorry. I said she doesn't end up voting for Fabio.
She did. Okay.
That's what I was trying to say. But it's just a good moment for Fabio to like be real and for people to connect with him and feel for him. And, you know, it was just sweet. And then Chase tries to butt in. He's like, well, I got a mom too. I'm going to take care of my mom too.
Yeah. Get out of here.
And it just sounded kind of rude in the moment.
It was a whole thing. So anyways, well, Chase, I think this is earlier Chase, and that's why I get for not writing super detailed notes. Chase does say, I believe it was to Jane, what he would do with the money. And that was to give $100,000 to charity, or to his brother's charity, because he has this banner on his wrist
for his dad,
and he's gonna help his parents. And Fabio's like, I'm gonna help my parents too. And it's like, yeah, but Jane's not talking to you, Fabio.
That's true. Fabio did jump in there.
It wasn't like Fabio played some perfect final tribal. Alina's the last juror. She tells Fabio he is a boy and she wants to give money to a man, and it like felt kind of sexual.
It was really weird.
It felt sexual. Yeah.
I mean, I get her sentiment. Like, I don't know if I want to give $1 million
to a boy,
to a kid who's probably going to blow it on whatever.
But the way she presented
it was kind of weird.
Sexual. I want to give it to a man. Oh, okay, Alina. All right. Okay. So Fabio wins 5-4.
Right.
I mean, he gets Nayaka's vote, he gets Purple Kelly's vote, he gets Benry, He gets Marty. Oh, he also gets Dan's vote. Okay, I missed Dan.
Yeah.
Alina gets Poster Chase. Okay, so that's the main season. We got a trivia question, Mary, and we'll do your all's questions you asked us on Patreon.
Okay.
This is the part of the show where I try to, number
Stump
one,
Mary.
nail you. Yeah, stump you, nail you with a hard-hitting question. So, prior to this season, Mary, which season had 2 quits? This season had 2 quits in one episode. The other season that I'm referencing, that I want you to guess, had 2 quits, but they weren't in the same episode.
Okay. And it was prior to Nicaragua.
Prior to Survivor Nicaragua.
Okay.
Which season had 2 quits?
So I remember a season with Boston Rob where somebody quit and he was like actually supportive of them. So I'm going to guess that season. So let me think of
which seasons that Boston Rob been on, I guess the better question.
Yes, let me think of. But did anybody else quit that season? Okay. Yes. Okay, I'm pretty sure this is my final answer. This was Survivor All-Stars.
Yeah, but who quit?
Well, I can see her face, but I don't remember because Boston Rob and this lady are standing on the beach, and he's telling her it's okay for her to go, but I don't remember who it is.
Your memory is off. So
I remember images, but not
Jenna
names.
quits because her mom.
Yes, she felt like her mom was,
and she makes the right decision because she goes home and her mom dies a few days later. But Boston Rob and her were never on the same tribe together.
Oh,
and then.
Okay.
That's why I'm saying your memory's a little fuzzy. You got
maybe
the right
he
season.
said at tribe. Maybe somebody else was standing with her on the beach, or maybe nobody's standing with her.
On the beach, there was Jeff did ask like everybody, so maybe that's what you're thinking of.
I just remember Boston Rob at tribal saying it was a good decision for her to go, or something like that.
There's quite a few people like Big Tom's like, if somebody in my family dies, don't tell me until I get back off the show. No. I don't want to know while I'm out here if somebody dies. Like, all right, Big Tom. So Jenna quits because of her mom, and then Sue quits because of the Richard Hatch incident where he was naked during the challenge, and apparently at some point they bumped each other, and that was a whole thing. And I'm not getting into that. We've already been there. We talked about it on our All-Stars deep dive, but yeah. So that's the 2 quits that season. Sue was on their tribe, and they all basically mocked Sue after she left because they felt like Sue was just playing it up for money. I mean, it's really how it was presented on the show. So yeah, Boston Rob he was pro Jenna going, I think, from what I recall. He's like, yeah, go for it. But then with Sue, everyone's like, screw Sue. So,
which is weird.
What a dark season. Yeah. All right. So time for your all's questions you gave us on Patreon. First question is from, once it loads. All right. King of Thorns. Why has no one but Brenda ever come back? Do you think production hates this cast in the season that much?
Probably. It wasn't a great season. And I think people complained about it enough that they knew that it wouldn't be beneficial.
Who else would you have wanted to come back from this cast? If one other person had to come back.
Jane.
For me, it'd be Fabio. I want to see an older, mature Fabio.
I'd see an older Fabio play.
Jane here, I feel like, is probably near the end of her Survivor life.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That makes sense to me that Jane's never come back, even though she's probably one of the few people that I think people would actually enjoy seeing come back.
Yeah, she might be okay, but she's got to be up there in age. Fabio is in his mid 30s now about.
Yeah, he's probably 34,
35. So he would be interesting to come back. I don't know how they'd bring a winner back. I don't know if they would do that now in modern Survivor.
Right, yeah.
They did Winners at War already. So like, what's the appeal of bringing back a winner from season 21? I have no idea. So next question from Tall Stud C. If Nyanka and Purple Kelly weren't on the jury, would Chase have won Nicaragua?
Yes.
I think the answer is yes, because they vote for Fabio. They're 2 votes for him. So let's just say they're just not on the jury, like at all. They just like, Jeff's like, you quit, you're out, you're gone. The rule is you're gone. So yeah, I think Fabio loses 4-3. And then it's like, okay, who should have Fabio taken in the end? Not that he really had a choice. Like Holly, he still loses to Holly. He needed Dan and Sash at the end. And I don't know how that would have happened.
Right. It could have happened because Sash was smart enough to know that he probably shouldn't go up against Chase. But
Sash was spineless though, as they say.
Yeah. He wasn't great at maybe making people do the things that he wanted. So
Laura asks, which Jimmy between Jimmy T and Jimmy Johnson is your favorite? We know the answer, right? It's Jimmy T, obviously, right?
Jimmy J.
What? No way. Not Jimmy Johnson. Yeah, no, Jimmy, definitely Jimmy Johnson. All right. Tori asks, what are your thoughts on Marty? I always thought he was the best strategist on the older tribe and definitely could have won had Jane not gone AWOL. Do you think Marty had a chance of winning, Mary?
No.
Let's say Marty gets to the final 3.
No.
What if he sits next to Sash and Dan? I know. How did that even happen? That's like
the only possible combination, probably. Marty's just one of those people that rubs people the wrong way. You can be like, okay, Tom, an older guy who did well in challenges, a good strategist. People for the most part respected and liked him, even though there was people he also rubbed the wrong way or ticked off or whatever. But in general, he was just, he didn't come across as arrogant as Marty. When you're an older guy like Marty coming across as just so arrogant all the time, you're not going to win.
And we see it on Ponderosa and the Ponderosa videos too. If you want to see those, check out my Survivor Nicaragua Secrets video. Or check them on the DVDs if you got the Nicaragua DVD. Marty just ticks people off on Ponderosa too. He was not going to win.
No.
You're right. He just rubs people the wrong way. And he doesn't read. He's kind of like Jimmy T in that way where he just like annoys people with his ego.
Now, if he had played 20 years prior and was a little bit more humble and had less of a big head, maybe. Yeah, he could.
But that's a different person.
Yeah.
That's a different person at that point. Yeah. All right. Next question is from Billy. If Holly made it to the end instead of Fabio, in place of Fabio, does she sweep the jury? Does she get all the jury votes?
I don't think she sweeps the jury, but I do think she wins.
Yeah, I think she wins. I'm just trying to think who votes for Chase over Holly.
Brenda still votes for Chase. Yeah. I think Alina probably still votes for Chase. I don't know.
I want a man to win, not a woman.
Right. I don't know her relationship with Holly, how close they were at all. But
I want a man to win.
I do think Holly gets the majority of the votes.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have been as close.
I think Holly pulls off like an 8-1, 7-2 victory as well over Chase. Okay, next question is from Kelly. I don't know if you've ever touched on this or not. If you did, I don't remember, but was Purple Kelly's quit justifiable considering what we found out or really went down? What she's talking about is Purple Kelly really didn't have much in the way of clothes. And you saw her a lot of times wearing Fabio's jacket, but like Fabio has to be able to wear his own jacket too. By the way, I feel like that could be a reason why Purple Kelly voted for Fabio. He's constantly lending her his jacket and she was freezing out there. So I don't know. Do you think her quit was justifiable?
So you're saying that like production didn't give her enough clothes, or she asked?
Well, like you look at Chase. Chase is like a long sleeve shirt. He's got jeans. He's got like a ball cap. Kelly's in like what? Like what is Kelly in? Purple Kelly. She doesn't have much clothes. You compare like clothes between people. Some people have more clothes than others, and they're saying Purple Kelly didn't have that much.
Okay.
Because she's supposed to be the designated hot chick who's probably meant to be voted off the first few episodes, but that didn't happen.
Gotcha. I mean, yeah, if this is a situation where like Purple Kelly is afraid for her health and is tired of being made to look like the hot girl, I mean, I guess. I don't. But at the same time, you kind of know what you're signing up for, I think.
Yeah. I don't know. I wasn't there and I'm not Purple Kelly. I think that why couldn't she just ask them to vote her off?
Yeah.
Why not go that route instead of quitting? I think Naoko was a huge influence over Purple Kelly quitting.
I do too. Because she was very adamant about quitting.
Like had Naoko not been there, let's say she's voted off earlier, she just wasn't on the season. Would Purple Kelly have quit? I think she gets voted off. I don't know if she quits. I don't know if she
she probably would have just got voted
off. Like
Naoko
gives her the confidence. So.
Yeah.
All right, 5RG2. Who would we have voted for at the end? Let's say we're part of the jury. Who would you have voted for from this final 3?
Oh man. I would like to say Fabio.
I would pick Fabio personally.
Yeah.
I wouldn't vote for Chase. The flip-flopping to me is a huge
that
hurts me. Like I cannot watch it. I mean, I cannot stand it. I don't like that personality.
Yeah.
So Chase would have annoyed me, and Sash being smug, get out of here. I would have voted. But then again, we're talking about me now. What if it was me in 2011 when this happened?
True.
Would 21-year-old me, if I was their age, like let's say I'm their age and I'm there. I don't know. I say now I'd vote for Fabio.
I agree.
I don't know. I don't think I would have voted for Chase though. I've always been the flip-flopping just like bugs me. All right. Owen asks, do you think Fabio is a good winner or did he just get really lucky?
Ooh, he was lucky. He won 3 challenges.
He earned
at the end.
his way to the end.
I really think he's not a terrible winner. I can't say that. Like, is he a strategic winner? No. Is he a physical threat winner? Yes. And is he a social winner? Yes. So
he earned his way to the end. He was not like gifted. It was not like some production twist came in and saved Fabio to get him to the end. So he earned his way to the end. So then we got to ask, did he earn his jury votes? Did he earn Marty's vote?
Yeah.
Why not? Yeah. Let's go back through it real quick. Did he earn Marty's vote? Okay. Did he earn Benry's vote? I guess. I don't know.
They were friends the whole time.
They were friends, I guess. Yeah. Which is enough, by the way. Did he earn Dan's vote? I feel like Dan's vote was in spite of the other two people.
Well, Dan and Fabio had an alliance towards the end, mainly because they were all constantly on the bottom together.
But I'm saying it's more the other two people annoyed Dan and made him mad versus Fabio earning Dan's vote.
Sure.
I think like Dan voted for Fabio to not vote for the other two.
Yeah.
So I think like Fabio earned the Marty and Benry's vote, but did he earn Dan's vote? I mean, he got it. Did he like work for it and earn it? So Purple Kelly votes for him. I think he earned that one.
Yeah. Who's constantly being nice to her.
Nyanka voted for him. Did he earn? I'm like, I don't. As I said, I don't fully understand why Nyanka voted for him.
We think
over
that's
Chase.
Because he was always honest with her. Like you know when somebody is being real with you, especially if you're fighting with them. Because if somebody doesn't want to fight with you, they're just gonna be fake about it. You know, I don't know.
So yeah, that's the 5 votes. So I would say he earned 3 of his 5 votes. The other 2 I'm not 100% sure on. Though you're more confident about Nyanka voting for him than I am.
Mm-hmm.
So. I mean, he earned his win. Is he a good winner? No, I'd put him in the bottom.
Yeah, he's not one of my favorite.
Bottom 15. I like him more as a character than a winner.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm glad he won over. I'm glad I don't have to sit here and talk about why Chase earned this win or why Sash earned this win. So, all right, next question, Jacob. How do you think Chase and the season as a whole would be perceived if he ended up winning instead? I mean, it's already considered a little boring. Boring.
Yeah.
This season would be boring.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Chase. Ugh. I'm glad he wanted to be semi-famous so that we don't. I don't know. I mean, I'd rather have that than him winning the season. All right. Next question, Giovanni. What do you think of the Marty and Jane feud? I mean, Jane feuded pretty. I mean, I don't know. I think I'm pro Jane. I guess
I'm pro Jane in most things. Yeah, I think. At the same time, I'm like, you guys are what, like in your 50s?
They're fighting like they're from they're on the younger tribe.
Just ignore each other. I mean, you're old enough to be like, okay, just I don't like you, you don't like me. We don't have to interact. But I get it. I mean, people hurt your feelings, and you want to be like emotional about it.
Yeah.
I don't know why they're like. I never really got the reason of why they don't get along or anything. But
I don't know. But hey, we're done with Nicaragua.
Yay.
Next time, we're going to talk about Survivor Redemption Island. And hey, we didn't quite get under 2 hours, but we're pretty dang close to it. So good for us.
Good for us.
Improvement. Next time, it's the Boston Rob and Russell Hant show. And there are other people on the season, sure, but why? Why are they there? Don't they know what the season's really about?
I'm excited about Redemption Island.
I'm glad you're excited. This is not a season I look forward to watching, but it will be interesting to talk about. So we thank you all for listening, and we'll see you all next time. Bye.